Good evening and welcome to EGI2. I'm with your host, Robbie Rackleff. With me, of course, is EGI2 special correspondent Allan Resnick.
Hello.
And our special
Hi.
guest tonight is, of course, the wonderful, talented Anna Saragina. But unfortunately, we have to get right to the hype train because we are, the right to the story, that is, because we do have
Robbie,
a hype train going.
Robbie, you've already hit level 2 hype. So Anna, you probably don't know this. On twitch.tv.com/EGI_2, there's a hype train. Children give money to Robbie. And every time they do that, Robbie has to tell a story. The show just started. He's already hit level 2. So he has to tell a story. He's making it up. He's telling the story for another 4 or 5 more minutes. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan. Back to you, Anna, and back to you, chat. Because this is, of course, a wonderful evening to have. It's tax day. We've all had our taxes done, and when I think about the tax situation in this country, when I think about all the paperwork we do, I think, well, it's quite. I think it's fair to say quite Kafkaesque. The amount of paperwork that we have to do, and the amount of the sort of logistical and I would say illogical wormholes that we find ourselves being sucked through and twisted around as we try and manage our finances for the gray coats and up in their mighty towers.
Is this the story?
This is not the story yet, but it reminds to say one thing is we always talk about Kafka because of things being Kafkaesque, don't we, Anna Saragina? Mm-hmm. And I want to just be completely honest that I am on allergy medicine right now, which is making me extremely sluggish. But I'm determined.
Thank you, Gun Gun Pixie, for the tier
story.
1 sub for 6 months. Wow, that's very generous.
Gun Gun Pixie, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Unbelievable amount of generosity that you're showing us here tonight. Because of the allergy medicine, the story will be a little bit slower coming up, but I'm determined to get to the moral of this story because these are such important Kafkaesque times, Anna Saragina. Wouldn't you say so? Mm-hmm. Because of the amount, if you look in the newspaper, if you're one of those people that gets up early in the morning and you run out to the run out the front door, down the street to the bucket where the newspapers come.
3 more minutes to finish the story. We're at 83%.
You will be, of course, familiar with just all the goings on that are happening in the world and what it is to feel like your world is being turned upside down on a daily basis.
Story.
To not understand the world, to not know what the people in power are doing to the world, to our world, and yet here we are being batted around, powerless, and utterly, I think, Kafkaesque, Anna Saragina.
Yeah.
And that is why tonight's story involves, of course, none other than that classic American city, Prague and Czechoslovakia.
Okay, Robbie hasn't even started the story. We've already hit a hype train level 3. He's used a hype train emojis in the chat. And Robbie, you have 5 or 4 more minutes to continue the story. Good job, Robbie.
Thank you so much, Allan, and back to you, Anna, and back to you, chat. And I appreciate all of the wonderful things that people are saying in the chat about the allergy medicines and all about the tax situation. Because, in fact, I think that most people would agree that the tax situation is quite Kafkaesque, Anna Saragina.
That's right.
And just a note to the chatters, try to spend as much money as you can on this hype train today before you have to file your taxes, because it is deductible.
It is deductible. It is charitable to give the bits and the bites and to gnaw on the foot of the master of the absolute. It's a sort of a, when you're dealing with the power struggle between the individual and the state, Anna Saragina, I think that it's easy to picture oneself as a kind of a bit of a gnawing creature, almost a shapeless little maggot with giant buck teeth nibbling at the toe of some
this is the
mammoth,
start of the story.
Gargantuan humanoid.
Is that a character in the story?
This is not a character in the story,
okay, so
but
the story hasn't started.
It takes place in Prague, Czechoslovakia, back in the, I want to say it was the 1700s or the 18th century. Isn't that right, Anna Saragina?
That's right.
So in Prague, in the 18th century, 17th, 18th century Prague and Czechoslovakia, we found ourselves following behind the footsteps. We are the footsteps. Following the footsteps of a child as she wanders through the alleyways and warrens and underneath the various beautiful ornate bridges in past churches of various origin, and exploring the hidden realm of the underside of that classic American city, Prague, Czechoslovakia, as she tries to find the last bits of scraps of bones with like bits of meat on them, or dead animals that have fallen out of windows, or perhaps washed up on the riverfront, so that she can bring something home to her mater and pater.
Who are you talking about?
This is the little girl's name is about to be revealed, Allan Resnick, but unfortunately we have to just picture ourselves just following behind this anonymous child as she struggles for survival in this 17th, 18th century universe of Prague, Czechoslovakia, the kind of a Kafkaesque type of situation, Anna Saragina.
We're trailing a child?
We're trailing the child. We see the back of her head in much the same way that one sees the back of the head of many characters in third-person action adventure games, action shooters, some RPGs.
You're describing a shot that we're seeing in sort of a cinematic cutscene, or is this a game?
Exactly. So you can imagine the camera is sort of locked onto the back of her head in the way that one might see Hawk Manson from Fighting Force 2, classic human man Hawk Manson from Fighting Force 2.
I've never seen a story that describes a shot like a movie.
But unfortunately,
Anna,
Robbie, children are wont to
Robbie,
do.
Anna has a question.
Yes, Anna.
Are we her height, or?
No, we are. Well, we're not her.
No, I understand.
We are the voy.
We're
we are the
trailing
voyeur.
behind her, but are we her height, or are we
It's sort of.
down?
Yeah. No. Well, that's a great question. I don't have an answer to that, but I want to just say that kids wander in on their parents all the time, and various parents are unfortunately must find time for themselves to find time to explore each other's bodies and be intimate, and to let the two types of flesh become one. Allan Resnick?
Oh, you have 1 minute, less than a minute left. The story is now getting quite sexual, which is usually a cue to the audience to give more money to find out. Okay, that worked right away. So we just hit the next level. Wow, Robbie. So as soon as you started talking about the sex that the parents were having, I think that's what you were saying. You hit it, the next tier, and thank you, Mikos, for 5 tier 1 subs. Okay, thank you. And you have 5 or 4 more minutes to continue the story. Keep giving money. And Anna had a question. Back to you, Anna.
So back to you, Anna. What's the question? And do make it quick, because we do need to get back to explaining what exactly the little girl did see.
So while you're exploring, the child is there?
The child is. We are not the child, and the child is not us. We are simply witnessing what the child is witnessing, which in this case is when she's coming home with her handful of rotten meat, as children often did in the 17th, 18th century Prague, Czechoslovakia. I think.
Why?
Thank you, 12-ounce Fitz.
Why would a child have the rotten meat?
Why is the meat rotten?
Because the animals are falling out of the windows and they're being washed along the riverbeds, and every little scamp that's running around the seats of this classic American city are just pulling at carcasses, trying to get whatever good meat that they can, leaving behind the tiniest scraps for the tiniest. The tiniest and weakest of us. And so at this time of day, after spending so much time outside, that's when her parents have decided that this is the time for them to have their time together. Which is why that when she brings home her little...
Robbie, you thank you to Canned Cake for tier 1 sub. I don't know what that means, but you've hit the next level of hype somehow. People are very generous. They like this story, even though it's a very slow story and kind of a weird story. You've hit level 5. We're now on level 5 of hype.
I would say the story is not I would say the story is rather Kafkaesque. Yes, Anna Saragina.
Okay, I have to leave in an hour, so I'm just publicly going to set.
Thank you for that, and back to you, Allan, and back to you, Anna. We do have to continue
but I'm just going to set a timer.
And so in this moment in the story, the camera leaves the back of the child's head and zooms into the room the parents have laid on top of each other and have what? Yes.
Is the camera panning down?
The camera did not pan. It sort of zoomed through the back of the head. So the child we see the child open the door. The parents are doing.
Are we the camera, Robbie? Are
you doing dolly, or what are you doing?
There's no dolly. The camera is completely separate
You're doing steady
it's,
cam?
it's sort of a drone shot kind of a thing where the drone just sort of flies through the child's head. Because the child, it turns out, now I just have to get to it, the child is a ghost.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it just flies to the head. It's a drone shot, flies but the corporeal hand of the child still floats in midair while holding the rotten meat.
Robbie, was it VFX?
It was not VFX. Actual ghost.
It's practical.
Sort of one
practical.
of those. Obviously you're familiar with the sort of folktales of the far reaches of the Russian countryside.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know about the corner ghost phenomenon. The corner ghosts being the ones that sort of stand up in the corner of rooms and just kind of spit at people as they walk by. The kind of stringy little flecks of almost like a silly little string. And that people pass by and they get the string on them, and that string again eventually gets tangled up in wagon wheels, and people get dragged for many, many miles throughout the Eurasian steppe.
We're only at 2% hype. Level 5 is a much harder level, apparently.
This is a very hard level to get through, but so you have to imagine that she, but because she is so tethered to this world, and she is so tethered to the life that she had previous before she died from eating the rotten meat. By the way. Because if you eat enough rotten birds as a child, you will eventually your insides will eventually collapse and fail.
So she
died, but her hand stayed with us, and her hand is constantly bringing back meat for her parents. And her parents think that this is okay. But they also recognize
2-minute warning.
that
2-minute warning. You only have 2% of hype. People are not liking the story, Robbie. They are not giving any money to the story. Make the story sexual again. I got something in my throat.
Okay. So allergies season is popping off in the City of Angels, and we are all having our difficulties with the different types of allergy medicine that everyone must take to survive over the coming days. We have had a lot of rain.
Finish the story. Robbie, you're not going to get to level 6, so finish the story now.
So, finally, the flashback to the beginning of the day. So it's like one of those movies where you start with the plane in the pool, and you're just like, the question is, how did the plane get into the pool? And then it's like 4 days later. Or 4 days earlier, sorry, 4 days previous.
Like Castaway?
And it's like
Say
Castaway.
Something sexual now.
So it's the wife and the husband are looking at each other over their kitchen table. There's a very small kitchen table.
Oh, Robbie, the hype is working.
This. And they are absolutely.
We're at 16%.
They're feeling the love.
Give.
That
give money. I want to hear what this happens. I want to hear about when it goes.
Adults
when it goes
and,
in.
A man and a woman do feel for each other once they've lived together for a long time, and once they know their bodies. Each other's bodies for a long time. They understand
40 seconds. We're only at 60%. Give money. He's going to describe the sex.
They understand what the other person needs, and they are willing to provide it. But unfortunately, because they are haunted by the ghost of their daughter, whose hand, who they can't see the ghost. So we can see the ghost because, again, we're in the drone camera.
22 seconds.
But they can't see, they can only see the gross hand with the rotten meat that always comes in and out of the house. So they decide next time the hand leaves, our daughter's hand leaves.
Thank you, Joe Botnick. Thank you so much to friend of the show, Joe Botnick. You've donated an incredible amount of tier 1 subs. You've gotten us through the threshold. I didn't think we were going to do it. And now we are going to hear about the penetrative sexual relations of the mother and the father and the hand of the ghost child. Back to you, Robbie. So, 4 or 5 more minutes.
The woman and the man are to make a mental, and the man's name it's a strange name, but you got to bear with me. The father's name is Manhammock, and the mother's name is Gottlieb. So Gottlieb and Manhammock are looking at each other over the dining room table. They haven't been together they have not been intimate with each other for quite a long time.
Why?
And it's one of those monsoon-like conditions because the hand is always floating around.
Oh,
and when they see the disembodied hand of the ghost daughter, then they know that their daughter is there watching and witnessing. So they have to wait for the hand to go out for long periods of time before they can undress and explore each other's various details. And it can take a long time because they are both they're very open with their needs, and they are very, very generous with their time. So a lot of it's not like this 6 to 10 minute couples fling that happens after when long-term relationships hit kind of a rut.
Anna, how much time do you have left?
I have 54 minutes and 19 seconds.
So Manhammock and Gottlieb have made a decision 4 days previous that they were once the hand is gone to go out looking for rotten meat. Then they are going to have a full, probably at least a full afternoon to just absolutely cross everything off the wish list. If you know what I'm trying to say. Allan first, and then Anna.
I'm just curious what Anna's question was.
I guess I'm wondering. You're saying it's coming in out of the house holding the meat, but you're saying it's leaving to look for the meat. But it's holding the meat to go look for more meat, or is it? You
have to. I know this is starting. It's a little hard to kind of wrap your head around, but you have to understand. We started kind of at the end. We started at the midpoint of the story, and now we're at the beginning of the story. But we're kind of we're at like maybe a third of the way. We basically stepped back a third in time, and we're going to keep moving forward once we get back to the original thing of the daughter's hand, the ghost daughter with the disembodied hand with the rotten meat, getting back and watching the parents penetrating Anna.
What does that have to do with what I asked in the meat?
The meat?
Yeah.
What's in the meat?
No.
It's rotten.
No. What does that have to do with my question?
Well, the question that you're asking, it doesn't matter what the question that you're asking the question that you're asking doesn't seem to, I don't think you quite understand how much these people know about each other and how much time they've spent together. They've been together since they were teenagers. They went through the whole of adolescence together, and all of that early, I want to just say, all of that early experimentation phase they did with each other and with each other only. So there have been they've been so focused on the pleasure that they share with one another that they can bring each other to a tremendous amount of climax.
1 minute and 30-second warning, Robbie. I don't think you're going to get to the next level, so finish the story.
A tremendous amount of climax that I think most people in this day and age it's not achievable for them. And the only thing that's holding them back from basically ascending to different tiers of intimate possibility of intimate. I want to say intimate, a kind of demigod level of climax is the fact that their dead daughter's hand is constantly floating around their house, holding fistfuls of rat and blackbird and vermin meat.
Wait, so because the meat is there, the climax is more demigod?
If you see Anna Sarajin, I want to just picture yourself. Just picture that you are. Doesn't matter if picture yourself as the woman or the man in this situation. Just know that you're with your partner in a situation where you're just absolutely yearning for the touch of that other person, for the touch, for the grip.
20 seconds.
We're
not going to do it. Finish the story.
For the
15 seconds. Finish the story.
And looseness and wetness and friction that happens when two people know each other.
The hype train is ending in 8 seconds. Finish the story. Okay, the hype train has officially ended. It ended early, I noticed. But finish. Do a quick little moral. And Anna, just a programming note. You're going to want to match Robbie's. Robbie yells, so you're going to want to yell.
Oh, okay.
So so when that's too quiet. So Robbie's yelling.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
Well, and if we hadn't had to stop so much to answer these questions that don't really seem related to the core of the story, we would have gotten to the point where the ghost of the daughter,
don't say what happens.
The hand,
Robbie, don't give it away.
The skin of the hand basically wraps over the whole of the ghost
Robbie,
body.
they didn't pay for that
and
part of the story.
They become like one of those Resident Evil villain creatures that with like all the different bumps and eyes on the shoulders and that.
Just
kind
do
of
a moral. Don't say what happens.
There's no
people didn't.
The moral. I don't want to get to the moral yet because I don't know. I don't think people realize how bad things can get when you don't properly time your sexual afternoons.
So that was the story part. Thank you so much to the viewers who donated money to hear that story. And now this show will start. This is a show called EGI2. It's a video game show. I don't know. It's not normally about stuff like meat. It's about video games.
And she died from eating the meat. There was no dirty pool. So welcome to EGI2 Stream 17. So happy to have you, everyone here with us. Thank you so much for the generosity, for the subs and
Bits.
Thank you for that. And I want to just say hello to Anna Saragina, our guest this evening. Anna Saragina, how are you this fine day? How's your allergies and what's your tax season story?
I have 48 minutes and 48 seconds left. So, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, and you are obviously an incredible talent. You are an intellectual. You are an artist. You are a performer. You are so many things underneath one hat, which I see you wearing. You are wearing a hat here today, and why are you wearing that hat? And what message are you trying to express with the hat?
Well, because I figured that Allan would be wearing a hat, so then I wanted to match Allan creatively.
And I sell these hats on my website. Buy these hats. Use code TheLukeMan to get $1 off, and $1 goes to Taylor.
The Luke Man Taylor, Luke Taylor, whose show is the Luke Man who shoots in this very studio that we're in right now, and who makes us do the shows on Monday nights because he gets to do he gets all the good time slots.
And Anna, what was your hat?
And if I can just interrupt you for a second, I was trying to figure out ways about how to goose the numbers on this show, and I've noticed that there seems to be there's a show on YouTube where the guests eat hot sauce. And so,
Robbie, what are you doing?
And it causes a great deal of kind of a funny situation happens. They eat the hot sauce and they answer
Robbie.
questions, and sometimes they curse and they do. And so I just brought some hot sauce, and I thought we could do that.
That's so funny.
You want me to eat?
So this is an African ghost pepper hot sauce. So whenever it will feel like taking a chance on seeing how deep down the rabbit hole you can go.
This could prove to be quite interesting.
This could be our ticket out of here. This could be our ticket away from Monday nights.
Wow.
So I'm trying to go to my friend's house who lives behind here, and I'm locked out.
Right.
So I'm just waiting for her to pick
So
me up.
what you're saying is that you're willing to try the hot sauce live on EGI2. The first time we've ever done hot sauce on EGI2.
Where did you get that?
Yeah.
I just found this
real?
on the street on the bus actually. It was on the by the bus stop.
It's half gone.
It's
Yeah.
half gone. So you know that someone else probably was having their own little hot sauce meme video thing that they did, and then they just decided I had enough, and then they left it out for the next person, and here it is.
One live streamer. to
Right
another,
here.
Yeah.
So my gift to you and your gift to me
Yeah.
it would be to eat the hot sauce.
And don't rub your eyes after.
But don't rub your eyes after. We could probably we could try having some nuts with it.
How did you do that? Anna, did you see that? Did you see what happened?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So take it
Wow.
away, Anna.
I'm not eating right now.
So Anna, you're here tonight. Do you have anything that you would like to promote, or do you have any particular shows that you're working on, or you're performing in? So I know that you performed with Jennifer Lopez once on Superstore. Are you planning on bringing back that character?
It was not Superstore, but
Supermarket.
I was in a supermarket based commercial. Yes.
With Jennifer Lawrence, and she came up to you and she says, I've got a craving I haven't felt since the Hunger Games. And then you said Mockingbird or something akin to animals that are in the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Pretty much that's how it went down.
And it was such an iconic role, and we think about that often. Whenever I walk by supermarkets or superstores, I think that Jennifer Lawrence's might be in there, just having a blast with the cashiers, coming up with witty Hunger Games related banter, and just making people's day. To imagine just seeing a celebrity like that at your favorite local supermarket, maybe buying hot sauce.
James, can you play that commercial? Oh, never mind.
And you might imagine Jennifer Lawrence's hot sauce commercial.
What are you doing, Robbie?
And she says to you, the cashier, have you tried this hot sauce before? And you say, no, Jennifer Lawrence, I have not tried the hot sauce, but I will try it with you right now. And then
a little dab will do you. You don't do it too much.
Dab a little bit on the tip of your tongue, and you say, well, that's okay. And then you maybe say, I'm not feeling anything quite yet. And then you both fill up a capful, and you both take shots of the hot sauce together at the superstore. And then after that, you go and things get a little spicy, and you both drink a carton of milk. You go to the break room, and she goes to her car, and none's the wiser. Anna Saragina, you have a question.
At work, I'm doing this?
Well, you're in the superstore. You work in the cashier. And you can imagine anytime you walk by the superstores in your neighborhood that other cashiers are having the same experience. And that's why the kind of entertainment work that you do is so effective, I think, because you can put yourself in the shoes of those iconic characters.
Are they mid-shift?
What's that?
Do they have to clock out, or are they on the clock?
They are. It's similarly. It's similarly timed to whichever main character is passing by the superstore.
So we're getting a quick note from the chat. They want more volume on Anna. Robbie's yelling like crazy. It's kind of ringing in my ears and hurting, but Anna's quite quiet on the mic.
Well, I think that's something that's happened at Allan.
So maybe try to be like, yes, I'm friends with Jennifer Lopez, and I'll have some hot sauce, please.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Shoot.
Okay.
I'll just turn your volume up.
So when Jennifer Lawrence approached you about the role, obviously she called you at home. Maybe perhaps you were lying in bed with a good book over your face, in the way that tired and depressed people often find themselves, with books on their faces. They nap the day away. And then when the call came, you knew it was the big break that you've been waiting for, and so you took the call. And the one thing led to another, and now here you are with us on twitch.tv/AGI_2, bearing it all, ladies and gentlemen, everybody outside and in between, with the same hot sauce that we tried to get you to consume previously.
Right. That's how it went down.
Allan Resnick, what are people saying in the chat about the hot sauce? Do they want to see Jennifer Lawrence eat the hot sauce?
They want to see it. They want it. They're talking about Jennifer Garner, I think. Maybe was it Jennifer Garner?
It was Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez, classic American singer-songwriter Jennifer Lopez, whose Party in the USA kept us all on our feet for most of the Bush years, to which we all replied, no. We all replied, yes, we will party in the USA, and we did.
Okay,
we had our good times, and we had and
I
we
think
never,
I found it.
We never found ourselves in a particularly
Robbie, look,
poor
I found
situation.
Here, let's watch. Let's watch
wow.
this. I'll turn the volume up. Oh, my phone locked. All right, just turn.
Stuck in the kind of a mire that the
cut to my shot.
And
Robbie,
things like the Battle of
we're gonna.
Fallujah.
Hello, Jennifer Lopez. Did you just attack my village?
So this is a video game. This is about a video game. So Robbie, this is perfect because this is a video game show. So you could talk about that. Because Anna, maybe there's a video game show. You could tell us what the video game was about.
So we do have a poll going on. Should Anima D? And I don't know what the D stands for. They could be referring to the Kenji Ino Sega Saturn title D, in which a young woman is thrust into a very
should Anna drink the hot sauce?
Dreamlike and terrifying series of puzzles and events.
No.
Drink the hot sauce.
So they 60% say no, 39% say yes, and 4% say oh behave.
Oh behave.
What is that, Robbie?
What was that? Of course, that is Michael Gove, the Secretary of State for Housing, Communities, and Leveling Up.
Robbie,
for the UK.
Robbie,
he's still got
the
position, even though the administration over the Atlantic has turned over several times in the last 4 years. Allan, your question?
I want to ask Anna how much time she has left, what she thinks of EGI 2, and those are my 2 questions.
Okay, so I'm 39 minutes and 30 seconds until I have to leave, and then I think it's great.
And of course,
She likes it, Robbie.
Being able to plug your acting work, I think, is such a key into making a real career in this town. Obviously, there's such a sort of a pyramid that some people have to climb over. But I feel like
is it okay
the
that I
type
played
of
the
work
commercial?
that you do is sort of an ascension, where you float above them and.
Jennifer Lopez! Did you just attack my village? My village on Coinmaster?
Coin Master, was that a crypto thing?
Wow, I guess I did.
See,
No, it's a
So you play
video
games?
game that was started in Israel.
You actually game with Jennifer Lopez.
you're in some sort of a crew like the Ubisoft Ubisoft girls that would all wear skulls on their t-shirts, and they're like they all played as snipers.
Ubisoft girls.
Yeah.
Now that must be exciting. So Jennifer Lawrence seems kind to you in that she seems like she's got kind eyes, and that makes me happy because a lot of times these super celebrities with their superstores always seem like they might be floating above us and their hovercrafts, their gold-plated hovercrafts.
Danny Laundry asked, was J-Lo nice in person? And Cinnamina says, Ubisoft girls? Question mark. Back to you.
I think they were called the Ubisoft girls. Perhaps they were called the sniper team, or the sniper team of female snipers for, I believe it was Ghost Recon, or perhaps it was Rainbow Six. But they all wore skulls on their T-shirts, and they promoted various multiplayer deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the flag, defuse the bomb, etc.
And the first question was Jennifer Lopez nice in person? Back to you, Anna.
She floated. She didn't float above. She floated at the exact same level. She was very professional.
Catherine Thundergloss, Catherine from Philly, says King of the Hill, which is of course another type of these multiplayer shoot 'em ups. One of the game modes that you can enjoy as a team with all of your crew. Do you have a crew, Hannah?
Really, mostly Allan.
The Allan. So you're with the Allan crew. You guys are trudging around in the streets, poking people questions about G Police and Colony Wars and various other Psygnosis games that we must cover on EGI 2.
I do have another friend who lives behind this building, and that's who I'm going to go hang out with. And
what's the name of the crew, Anna Saragina?
36
people are obviously
minutes and 30
interested
seconds.
in how you guys are crewing up, and oh dear. It seems like we've scratched on the surface of the scab a little bit of Allan's alter ego.
What are you talking about?
Allan, I saw you searching around.
Well, Anna said she had a friend back behind the studio. I was just looking.
Allan, I don't think that means that her friend is a you know what.
A what?
A what?
Mobster.
I would. No, of course not.
No, of course you
No.
wouldn't want to be associated with those people, those wild criminals of the underworld,
Anna,
with their fingers and everything, always trying to pull people out of the back seats of cars into throwing them into used oil containers, and then sealing the oil containers up with staple guns, and then kicking the oil containers and throwing bricks at them until the cacophony inside forces them to go completely insane and spill their guts on various combinations to locks and dials that get them to the treasures of the same treasures that we all pay into as taxpayers. The treasure that is the social
treasury.
capital, not
yeah.
only the social capital, but the capital. That is when we pay their tax bill at the beginning of every year.
So the poll has concluded. It looks like it's a perfect 50-50 split. Yes, Anna should drink the hot sauce. No, Anna should not drink the hot sauce. And a 4% went to Oh Behave.
Oh, behave!
Robbie, I'm begging you.
It must be.
Robbie,
stop.
Stop.
It must be.
Don't hit that button.
It is there on the console for it to be pressed.
But I don't understand what it is or why you do that.
Because ours is not to reason why. Ours is to do or die. And this button is on this console, and thereby if I were to avoid pressing it, when anyone mentions the words "oh behave," then I would be essentially robbing it of its meaning and existence.
Thank you. Vertical Mammal has gifted a tier 1 sub for 6 months, and it looks like yeah, people are. I'm not going to say what they're saying in the chat because I don't want you to hit the button.
Anna Sergina, you're obviously also well schooled in the Hollywood underworld of the various the elites and all of their comings and goings. What happened with that Jennifer Garner situation?
Well, Jennifer Lopez, in between takes, leaned in, and my character's name was Shirley, and in between takes, she leaned in and she said, "And don't call me Shirley."
You're spilling the tea on EGI2. Thanks, everybody.
That's punny video game news.
We were told not to make eye contact with her, and so I didn't look at her, and she said, "I said, don't call me Shirley."
We have a button that's supposed to say punny video game news, but the button isn't working. But I've hit it twice on your behalf, just so you know.
Hey, Robbie, Robbie, don't call me Shirley either.
You could have looked her. I would if I were in your situation and Jennifer Garner, fresh off of her divorce from Brad Affleck, had come up to me and said, "Don't look me in the eye," I would have said, "Surely you jest."
Right.
And this
is fun.
Punny video game news.
That's really funny.
And see, we don't have the graphic doesn't work anymore, so it just goes to a black screen whenever I press that button. But there's other buttons that work. Anna Sergina, so you obviously are, clearly because you were in that commercial, you are familiar with the video game news that we must talk about on EGI2. And I'm proud to announce that you will be the first EGI2 guest to be witnessing the funny video game news for EGI2 Stream 17. How does that feel?
It feels great.
So,
sound off in the chat if you can hear a word Anna is saying, or if she's too low. I think she's whispering. I don't know why.
So let's start with the funny video game news graphic. We must prepare our funny bones to enter the world of funny video game news. We must make sure the slideshow is properly synced to the buttons. Prepare your funny bone. You are now entering the world of funny video game news. Anna Sergina, are you prepared? Is your funny bone prepared for this? What will certainly be a wonderful journey into the world of funny video game news. A journey that will leave you haggard from the amount of laughter that you will be experiencing.
Yes.
But Allan, or what are people saying about the funny video game news? Are they excited? We're bringing it back after a bit of an absence on the stream.
Catherine Thundergloss says new font just dropped. Danny Laundry says the typography is just. I think people are enjoying the graphic design that you've done on this graphic. Can we see that again? That was quite an interesting graphic.
So prepare your some of it's in one font, and then another is in the second font, and then but then the funny video game news is on an altogether separate
funny
font.
bone. Okay, people
So
like that.
Funny video game news for EGI2 Stream 17 does require a bit of historical context. We do have a video to show if you can set that up for us, James, because this video will introduce us to the subject of the funny video game news. And I want to just say, just from deep from the heart, that I did believe that I was taking a anti-allergy medicine that was supposed to be non-drowsy, but appears to be quite drowsy, quite sleepy.
Can I have some pills?
There's pills in my bag. I'm not sure which ones, but if you just go into the very back pocket, there are several shapes and colors represented. My suggestion to you is to keep taking them until something positive happens.
Thank you, Robbie.
Otherwise, you'll end up in my situation where your mouth is just terribly dried out, and the only thing to drink is room temperature, more than room temperature water at this point because my hands are so hot, and hot sauce on the other.
What are these pills? Oh, don't rub your eyes.
Don't rub my eyes. Never rub your eyes.
I can't get into the cap.
We should do the funny video game
I got it.
segment, and any second now. Are you prepared, Anna Saragina, for the trailer, James?
Wait, was the question to me?
The funny video game news trailer for the subject of tonight's funny video
There's
game
a really
news
big pill.
starts imminently.
What is that? Okay. Oh. What is this? What?
Just 28 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay. Whoa. I
Just
hear.
so you know.
This is what is this, Robbie? Fighting Force 2. What's that red dot? Will, oh, he's back? There's that red dot. Ready. Is that in the game? Oh, that's cool. I can't swallow the pills. Whoa. Oh, never mind, it's gone. What is this? Whoa. Oh, okay. What does that say that's on the side? Oh my god. Okay. This is cool.
That is, of course, Fighting Force 2, the classic third-person shooter and brawler from Core Designs and Eidos Entertainment, the people that brought us, of course, the Tomb Raider series, Fighting Force, the first Fighting
any
Force,
water?
and the Soul Reaver.
Did you make that? I don't. What is that? What is that?
Fighting Force 2 is, of course, the sequel to the first Fighting Force game, which is which was essentially a pitch project for a 3D Streets of Rage for this for the Sega Saturn that was unfortunately turned down by Sega of America, Sega of Japan as well. And the people went back to the drawing board and said, well, let's just take all of the Streets of Rage characters out of here, and we'll still have a multiplayer brawler for these next generation PlayStation and Saturn consoles. The PlayStation one came out to much fanfare. It was followed up by a Nintendo 64 version.
Can I have some of that
the Sega
hot sauce?
Saturn
I can't swallow the
never
pill.
came out in the first. Never came out at all. So it was up to Sega Saturn was basically had been brought up to the plate with the largest, thickest bat or wicket.
I'm allergic to sugar, and there's sugar in it. No, thank you.
And they decided to place it down and go for a walk instead, and they missed out on Fighting Force. And then several years later, Fighting Force 2 was launched on the Dreamcast, but it was, instead of being a multiplayer brawler that you could play with your friends, it was just a single-player game where you ran around alone as Hawk Manson, the protagonist of Fighting Force 2. And we do have a story, and obviously, what people are asking right now, I can feel the questions bubbling up from inside of people. What is the story of Fighting Force 2? Well, luckily, we do have a bit of an introduction to the story of Fighting Force 2, entering the stream imminently.
It's the future.
What's this? I can't see this.
This is the story trailer.
What?
No, not this. It's not a trailer. It's just the introduction.
What did we see before?
That was the actual trailer.
Even the law.
So this is a teaser?
This is just the first thing that you see when you start the game as Hawk Manson.
I can't see it.
Operation teams who operate outside of the system against the system, because sometimes actions speak louder than words. Psychops has targeted the Nakam.
Can you describe it? What's happening?
These
Anna,
boys
can you tell me?
just stepped over the line.
Looks
their
like
crime.
comparable to the Matrix,
Illegal
so kind of what you're
bioweapon
seeing in the
program.
Matrix.
Genetic weaponry
You're seeing
based
that
on
here.
human
Okay.
DNA. We got
There's
enough on
DNA.
Nakamichi to justify a raid.
More
And that's where
DNA.
I come in. Psychops Agent Manson.
There's a
Hawk
guy with a
Manson.
goatee.
Like other agents, I'm packing the usual
Can't
body
see it at all.
enhancements.
There's a guy with a goatee.
Firepower to take
Is the
out
guy that goes
city.
hee hee?
Anything to
Goatee.
give me the edge.
And he's lit up by okay. It looks like someone's drilling the guy. Oh,
I heard the hee hee.
It's an invisible war we're fighting.
the guy's wearing gloves.
God, no
Oh, okay.
one will ever know.
I
But
love
I
his
Is there a
fashion.
red dot?
With that.
The dot's gone.
I see a red dot.
Oh, no.
My kind of ride.
Guy's coming toward us.
What?
He's gorgeous,
So
by the way.
now that we've seen the trailer for the game.
It looks
we've
so
seen
good,
the
Robbie.
The introduction to the story of the train, the introduction to Hawk Manson.
It looks really good.
the-
Did you
the-
make
the
it?
hero of Fighting Force 2.
Allan.
Are we ready? Are we now fully
Oh,
jacked in the same way that he is jacked into the underworld of high stakes corporate
I feel jacked in.
espionage?
Ready. What are you doing? What segment?
Funny video game news, Alan.
Oh, good. Oh, well, yeah, I love this one.
So we're now entering the world of funny video game news for the first time here on EGI2 Stream 17 with special guest Anna Saragina. Anna, do you feel like you are now fully informed on the subject of funny video game news?
It's so funny, Robbie.
Yes.
First up on funny video game news. Video game news. Fighting Force 2 is in the
Yay.
news.
Uh-oh.
Is in the funny video game news because
What does it say?
the president of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, says Hawk Manson is back.
I don't get it. I don't get that.
Hawk Manson, of course, is the protagonist of Fighting Force 2. And Daniel Noboa is, of course, I think we can all agree, Anna Saragina, that Daniel Noboa is experiencing a lot of tumult there in Ecuador. What with the large assault on that troubled country's institutions by the drug gangs at the earlier part of the year, forcing him to label the mobsters as terrorists and to fight back against them as if on the precipice of a civil war.
Who's doing this?
Daniel Noboa, the president of Ecuador, and the cartels.
Are you kidding?
But still, but because he has the youthful face of a young man, because he's a new leader in a troubled country, he does still seem to have enough time and energy to go back, open up the old Sega Dreamcast and/or Sony PlayStation, and fire up Fighting Force 2.
Is Allan okay?
I'm
Alan,
good.
what's the scoop on where you are? What are people saying about Daniel Noboa, Fighting Force 2, and the various the relationships between the Psychops war making that Hawk Manson must go through on his quest for righteousness, as well as the quest of Daniel Noboa to bring peace and stability, perhaps at the end of Iron Fist.
It looks like Joe Botnick says, that's funny video game news. Scott from the Pit says, I'm loving the show. It's a great show. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Alan, and back to you, Anna. Are you ready? Is your funny video game news bone tickled thusly?
Yes.
So next up in funny video game news, it's more funny. Fighting Force 2 is in the funny video game news because the president of the Indian National Congress, Mallikarjun Kharge, says, "Hey everybody, Hawk Manson came back."
What is this?
This is the funny video game news where newsmakers talk about, because this is the funny video game news is where newsmakers talk about video games in a funny way.
Just now?
Just now, you can see it there. The president of the Indian National Congress, Mallikarjun Kharge, I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation. He is the opposition leader in the Indian Parliament. He's not the opposition leader. That's obvious, Rahul Gandhi, but he is essentially the president of the Indian National Congress party. Essentially, he is the party secretary.
And that's the funny. What's
The funny video game news is that while people in India are perhaps on a bit on a knife's edge with the election coming up in the world's largest democracy, that the leader of the largest
Got the pill.
of the largest opposition party, the official opposition party of the Indian political environment,
Robbie.
would have time to fire up a Sega Dreamcast and or Sony PlayStation and play Fighting Force 2.
Robbie, that's really funny, and if Anna doesn't get it, screw her.
why? What?
So you can imagine, you're up there in the where's the Indian Congress located? Is it in Delhi or is it in Mumbai?
It's in Mumbai.
So you can imagine you're just having a rough and tumble day. Obviously, your party has been out of power for almost 12 years at this stage, and you come home to your wife and she has cooked you your favorite meal, and you sit together. You maybe look at each other and with tired eyes and wish for times when you were younger, much like the young couple in the story that we weren't able to finish during the hype train story. And then after longingly wanting for more time instead of less time, because it is the one thing that we all do run out of eventually, time. Rather than spending spending a warm embrace with your aging wife and or husband, well, we don't know, with President Karjay. He instead decides to go into the living room, fire up the old Sega Dreamcast and or Sony PlayStation and play Fighting Force 2.
It's funny.
That's funny video game news.
I get it. Yeah, Anna, you have a question?
Who is this?
He is the leader. This is Malakar
No, not
Karjay.
this. No.
He is the leader of the opposition, the opposition Indian National Congress.
No, who's with the wife?
Who's that? His wife or husband? I don't know.
You're being him? You're tired?
I'm saying, isn't it funny? The comedy comes from the fact that here is one of the most important political figures in contemporary Indian politics, a newsmaker, who spends his day fighting for what he believes in, fighting for his constituency, and trying to claw the Indian National Congress's pathway back to power.
It is funny, Robbie. If Anna doesn't get it,
no.
But instead, when he comes home, instead of opening up a newspaper, instead of calling Rahul Gandhi and telling him to do more, to perhaps go back to the countryside, see what people are saying, especially in the largely Hindu, the more devout Hindu provinces and states of that large South Asian country.
What is that?
I have a button that does laughs.
Rather than, what's funny is that rather than doing the work of a political of a secretary, of a political boss, of a leader of
Robbie,
an opposition movement,
we get it. Don't explain the joke.
Fighting Force 2 on Dreamcast or Sony PlayStation.
No, that is funny, but who's not having sex with the wife?
President Mallikarjun Karj or Karjay. I didn't look up the pronunciation. I usually do.
Anna, there's a lot of these funny video game news cards that he has to get through, so it's not good to get hung up too closely on any one, because then we'll never get out of here.
Next up on funny video game news, Fighting Force 2 is in the funny video game news, because none other than, you guessed it,
oh no,
Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre,
who?
Who is this?
He is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Caribbean island country, St. Lucia. Philip J. Pierre, I don't believe it, Hawk Mason is back. So obviously, Prime Minister Pierre believed that Manson had died at the end of Fighting Force, or Fighting Force 64, but he turned out to be quite alive and has come back angrier, more cynical and wilder than ever before. In fact, so wild that you don't when he points. If we're not going to show the game footage because that would take too much time. But when he points his gun, he looks down in the first-person perspective down the barrel of the gun.
Sorry, I'm just texting.
And so Prime Minister St. Lucia has taken a break from all of his duties as the actual political leader because there is a governor of St. Lucia that is, of course, appointed by the monarch of St. Lucia.
This is the kind of thing that people who go on Twitch.com, this is the kind of content that people on Twitch like. Mm-hmm. It's mostly young people.
Mostly young people with an eye on newspapers and a desire to learn more about what those news makers in those newspapers are saying about games like Fighting Force 2.
And me as well. I also am interested in this.
So here you are, you're Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre. You're obviously trying to figure out how to weather the storms that are coming this summer when the hurricane season begins in the Caribbean.
Who is this?
He's the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, not the governor. Okay. Not the governor. That's appointed by the monarch.
Who's the monarch?
King Charles.
What?
The Queen passed.
The Queen passed, and so the monarch of the Commonwealth is King Charles III.
Okay.
So he appoints the governor.
How much time do you have, Anna?
But
I feel like I haven't learned much about you.
13 minutes and 15 seconds.
But Philip J. Pierre is appointed by the people, by popular suffrage.
By what?
The vote.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And he, who should be figuring out how to perhaps build a larger airstrip to accommodate larger jets from different parts of the world to boost the tourist economy, because that is principally what they make. That's where their budget tends to come from. That, of course, in the Commonwealth Fund.
Robbie, did you do the punchline yet?
Well, the punchline is that rather than focusing on that, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre is instead coming home from the capital and of course the Prime Minister's residence to the Prime Minister's residence and firing up his Sega Dreamcast and playing Fighting Force 2. Freelance communist. It's not in the. It's not technically in the UK. It's in the Commonwealth. It's different. The UK.
Robbie,
the UK.
is that
We
the
all
end
know
of the segment?
the UK is
Okay.
England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland.
I just call it
Commonwealth
London.
Includes places. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it's the Commonwealth include. That's where you get Bermuda, St. Lucia.
Yeah.
The
Come on, pretty mama.
the
Oh wait, I have this one. That's called Big Male Celebration.
Oh.
And the other one is called Cute Hee Hee Hee. Which one do you like?
I like Big Male Celebration.
and feel free to chime in if you have any more questions about the funny video game news, because it does take a while to kind of get people acclimated to it. In fact, let's open up the phone lines and see what people are saying about Fallout, about Fighting Force 2 in the funny video game news on this wonderful EGI 2 Stream 17 evening during our allergy season.
And feel free to ask questions of the guest. How much time do you have?
10 minutes and 52 seconds.
So,
51.
caller, I don't know if there is a caller, but if you are calling in, you could ask questions of Anna.
And while we're waiting for our call, let's just go ahead and do another funny
great.
video game news slide, which is Fighting Force 2 is in the funny video game news because you guessed it, former Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin, says due to lackluster sales and poor critical reception, the series ended without a third installment. So the joke there being that similarly to her political defenestration, that the Fighting Force series, after a lackluster showing with Fighting Force 2, was not allowed to continue past the second entry.
So I'm going to do Male Big Celebration.
And then
That one's really good, yeah.
And then I'll say...
What was that?
All right.
What?
Oh.
What was that, Robbie?
What is that?
That was the toasty button.
Oh.
So I would say that was funny video game news. Oh, and while we're waiting for anyone to call in, really, I will remind people that we did last stream. We did have an EGI2 all Nans EGI2 2005 Game of the Year Awards all Nans edition, and the Nano Breaker was obviously the subject of that all Nans related Game of the Year Awards, and sort of cleaned out Anna Saragina.
Sorry, I'm just texting.
Color?
What kind of NANs are we talking about?
We're talking about NANs, the little machines that go in the blood and open up possibilities for various mutations and augmentations in the human body.
They're not like grandmothers.
If you had enough Nans and grandmothers, you might have sort of I would say mech mothers.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Mechanized mothers.
The pill feels good.
That could be stomping around in schoolyards, trying to pick up kids with their massive claws.
Who's doing this?
The Nans.
I just want to say I sympathise, Robbie, with your allergies because I do have allergic rhinitis and it does make me suffer quite badly sometimes. So I feel for you and I'm sorry you're going through that.
The problem is that when you
take a big pill that's hard to swallow.
Yeah, if you take the first and second pill, it doesn't necessarily cancel each other out.
Right.
Joe Botnick, welcome back to the show. What are your thoughts on the Commonwealth? On the state of the Commonwealth, and if the Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia is spending his time wisely enough, when perhaps he should be figuring out how to widen airports landing strips and perhaps build some deep water ports, because we all know that shipping can be a big source of revenue for these smaller island nations.
I'm not a big monarchist. I don't think.
Well, you don't have to be a monarchist, Joe, to know that the monarch does exist and that the Commonwealth persists, despite whatever your political leanings.
There's nothing wrong with the monarchy, Joe. There's nothing wrong with having a king or a queen.
That's in some ways, Joe, it's kind of fun to have a funny old king.
It's funny, but it kind of sucks at the same time because I feel like we're really mired in like the past, and they're just kind of like sponging off of our hard-earned tax pounds, and it's people
what
say
was it, Joe, that Thatcher said about all that? She said that the problem with us Europeans, is that we define ourselves by our history, and the Americans define themselves by their ambitions.
That I could see that. I wouldn't like normally to agree. But I do see that.
So you agree with that? You're a Thatcherite, you say?
I'm not a Thatcherite.
There's nothing wrong with agreeing with Thatcher.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
There you go.
She might not have been the mother of the nation, but perhaps she was sort of like an aunt or just a very close babysitter.
And we salute Margaret Thatcher.
I want to move on from this topic of conversation now.
Joe, what are your thoughts about Fighting Force 2?
I never played it. I played the first Fighting Force, and I believe Hawk Manson was in the first Fighting Force.
Yes, and that's why all the Daniel Noboa and the feller from the Indian National Congress and obviously Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister Pierre, were saying that Hawk Manson is back, but obviously much changed from his previous iteration in the original Fighting Force, which was much more, I would say, irreverent by comparison. It seems that in between Fighting Force and Fighting Force 2, that Hawk Manson has gone through some sort of Kafkaesque transformation, much in the same way that the Roach Men might have gone through.
Why did you look at me?
I would say it is extremely Kafkaesque. I would like to ask Anna if she's played any kind of beat 'em up games. I think Fighting Force 2 is less of a beat 'em up and more of an action based affair. But Anna, have you played any video games where you run around on the streets, the mean streets, and beat up thugs, etc.?
Not really, no.
Allan, what if you were to run around on the streets beating up thugs? Would you prefer to be with a buddy on a sort of cooperative mission, or would you prefer to go on your own?
In a game scenario, I would be with a buddy, with Robbie. You would be my buddy, in a couch co-op kind of a way. In reality, if I was on the streets and I encountered a thug, I'd prefer to be alone because of the way that I get rid of them, the way that I terminate them is private to me, and it's sort of an extreme physical act that I do. I don't like when people see me do it, and it is messy, and I get kind of ashamed if someone's watching. If I catch someone watching, I will go after them.
So there's like so witnesses are kind of like an accessory to the crime in your view.
I think witnessing the punishment that I do is a crime to witness, but generally speaking, if you were to witness a crime, that wouldn't be a crime. But if you were to witness the punishment of a crime, that's private.
Exactly. It's sort of like the conspiracy of silence that so many militants that went through or continue to hold deeply inside their souls, and of course that troubled corner of the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland.
And thank you for that question for Anna, Joe. That was a really nice question.
Thank you.
What was the question for Anna? I missed that.
If she'd played any fighting games, and I know she's short on time, so I'm just trying to get some more Anna on the show.
Thank
Well,
you
you know
very
who
much.
isn't short. You know who isn't short on time is of course Anna Santa Marin, the
Anna
recently
Saragina.
defenestrated
It's Saragina, right?
It
leader
is.
of
I thought
Finland,
so.
who was, I believe that was the one. She was photographed having a party.
Who?
Santa Marin.
And
Loud,
Joe,
right?
Anna met Jennifer Garner.
Was it Jennifer Garner? I didn't.
It was Lopez.
I've heard several Jennifers. I'm not.
It was
I'm
Lopez.
not up to speed on my Jennifers.
Yeah.
And she and
The Jennifer's
and she,
three,
and
yeah.
she and with her mighty arrow, with her Cupid's arrow on her mighty bow,
Whose?
Hunger Games bow, Jennifer Lawrence shot the arrow of respect and love into your heart when she asked you to act alongside of her.
She seemed like a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Joe, what's the scoop on what people are saying on the streets there in your little hamlet in
Your little Hamlet.
your little
What does
hamlet
that mean?
Hamlet Denmark?
I thought you were in the UK.
It's kind of it is the UK. People. What are people talking about? People are talking
Fighting
about
Force 2, the first fighting force. Fighting Force
Oh, no.
64.
Are you okay?
People are talking about they're making fun of Liz Truss. Liz Truss.
She's back in the news.
Oh, Liz Truss is in the news. Tell
But
us more.
obviously-
I'm intrigued.
You know what's funny about this, Joe, and this is a true story that I won't lie about, is that I, in fact, was about to put Liz Truss into the funny video game news, but thought best about it because I do believe that she's gotten a bit overexposed here on our side of the pond, and so Santa Marin seemed like a more appropriate representative of a failed government.
This is the well, yes. Liz Truss more of a failed individual more than a failed government, but I understand she's become a bit of a talking point across the pond as well. I wasn't sure to what degree because it's certainly been in the news a lot over here.
Anna, what are your thoughts about the Truss, the Truss prime ministership? Was she given a bad rap, or was it just simply bad economics that led her to leave us with Rishi Sunak instead?
Who's this?
She was the prime minister of Britain shortly after Boris Johnson resigned because of
Like a few days.
Partygate. Much
okay.
like the party that former prime minister of Finland went through. Of course, her party was not related to the COVID-19 pandemic, but was rather just a youthful expression of energy and a lust for life.
Anna, what's your favorite food?
It's a really good
I
question.
really like pizza. And actually, the reason why I'm leaving in 40 seconds is because I'm going to have pizza with my friend.
You know what's good on
Pizza.
pizza?
What?
The old hot sauce.
Well,
The old
the
hot
people
sauce.
didn't want to see me eat this, so I can't go against what the people want.
It was a split opinion.
It was
but
a split
I
opinion.
did vote no.
Thank you so much.
Any-
I really appreciate it.
And what was
Didn't wanna
it was
see.
48% for eating the hot sauce, 48 against, and what was the remainder? Remind me.
I don't think there was anything else.
Joe,
think
what
there
was the
was 4%
remainder
oh,
vote
behave.
for? Oh, behave.
Oh, behave!
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Alan. I didn't mean to do that.
Next up in funny video game news is, of course, Fighting Force 2 is in the funny video game news.
Okay, so
What's that?
sorry, this is my timer.
Oh shoot.
The timer has gone off. Anna
So-
Sergina is being called to snack the evening away with another woman on of course, the most delightful
Another
thing
woman.
that two women that care about each other can eat together, which is, of course, a pizza.
Who's the first woman?
What?
You said another. Who's the first woman?
Well, the first woman is you.
Oh,
The
okay.
second woman is the other woman eating the pizza.
Okay.
I assume that you're going to eat the pizza.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
It
much.
was lovely
This-
to speak
It was,
to you,
it
Anna.
was nice.
It was really
to
nice
have
to
you
speak
on
to
the
you as
show.
well.
I
Yeah,
hope-
thank
what
you
do
so much.
Closing thoughts. What do you think of EGI 2?
Fantastic.
Robbie, she likes the show. That's great. Thank you. Well, okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I miss her already.
We don't have any more. We don't have a guest.
We had her sitting right. We had her here. We could have asked her anything. We could have gotten any bit of truth out of her, but instead,
I tried.
she has wandered off.
She's totally gone.
Without the hot sauce.
Look.
We didn't get the hot sauce gag that we had hoped for, Alan.
I would have. I think it would have been so funny to see Anna eat the hot sauce. And I think if you were watching the show now, you could just imagine what kind of incredible content that would be, and how the numbers would quickly get juiced, just to see one of the EGI guests take a little dab of hot sauce right there,
And
in the
go-
screen
and
go kind of crazy.
And go crazy, and then you would, and while they were looking at you or looking at me and sweating with their eyes bugging out of their heads, we could have hit the toasty button.
Yes.
We could have done any number of fun, attention-getting gags.
And it was fun. It was fun to get all that tea. She spilled all that tea on Jennifer Garner, and it's just interesting to hear how the other half, the Hollywood elites, kind of live and the things that they do.
Grimm's Awakening says, "What do you should I invest in?" Back to you, Robbie. What you should invest in, and what we all would like us to invest in are probably two very separate things. I won't wade into these waters, because I think that when we're talking about what commodities are destined for further, let's say, not say inflation, but further value adjustments in the upward projection.
I would offer a little financial advice to the audience. Invest in EGI2. Twitch.tv.com
A wise investment.
/_EGI_2. Give bits and bytes and use your Amazon Prime if you have that. You get a free sub to this. I think there's a Patreon. I don't know if that's true. Did I make that up? I don't think I think there's a Patreon.
There is a Patreon.
Okay,
there is
so
a real Patreon.
There's a real
There's a-
Patreon. Give money to that. Joe, do you get any sort of benefit from giving to that?
There is the benefit of knowing that you donated to something you really care about and enjoy, and the promise of maybe future rewards at some point. But
I think
that
you
point
get
is
equity in the
undetermined.
show, and that's a safe
Yeah.
I do think that is a good investment.
I'm like a stockholder. I'm like I'm one of the suits.
You own stock in EGI2, and that's incredibly cool. That's something
Hey,
you can tell your
let's show
grandkids.
that video of Anna and Jennifer Lawrence again. That was a lot of fun. Let's see if we can't bring that.
I'll find that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe, you stick with us while we watch this.
Here, let me turn
this
my
is a real
brightness
hoot. I
on.
think
Yeah.
you're gonna like this.
Hold on, let me get my brightness up, my volume up. Okay, this is pretty cool. Now, for some reason, it starts with this strange baby.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez. Did you just attack my village?
Oh, it's Jennifer Lopez,
My village on Coinmaster?
Coinmaster.
Wow, I guess I did. Cool. Did you come all the way over here just because I attacked your village? I also looking for this. Coinmaster. Available on the App Store and Google Play.
Is this one of those games where it looks like a game, but then you download it and it's not like what was advertised?
I don't
at
think it's a
all,
game.
or-
I think it's some sort of a digital currency.
Pretty sure
or
that's
asset.
Superstore.
It looked like it. Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much for your call. Always lovely time to hear from you. We want to keep the calls coming in, because we have
Of
lost
course.
our guest for the evening to the
What is a
dear embrace
what is a-
of pizza and women.
what does a post-guest EGI2 Stream 17 look like? That's what I'm looking forward to finding out.
Well, we are all looking forward to that because we also have the Zyrtec, we have the opposite of non-drowsy Zyrtec coursing through our bodies at this very stage.
Okay. Good luck, Robbie.
Good luck to you, Joe. Rule Britannia. We have another call coming in right now. We did. We lost the call. Go ahead and call back. Oh, there it is. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. We've lost Anna Saragina, but we've got each other. What are your thoughts on Fighting Force 2 on the Dreamcast and PlayStation?
Hi, Robbie, Cody from Florida.
Cody from Florida. What's the good news from the just that mire of a place where you live?
That Fort Myers of a place that I live. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Robbie?
Did you hear what he did?
I don't get it.
I said mire.
Yeah, I heard that.
Something
I
in which a body may
heard
be
it.
stuck in, and he was saying Fort Myers, which is the name of the town near where he lives.
But what's the game?
A little bit of
Fighting Force 2.
Oh, I get it. That's very funny. Thank you, caller.
That's funny video game news, I believe.
I think so. That's really funny.
Thank you for that, Cody from Florida. What's the news coming from your terrible nightmarish situation that you have down there?
Well, we have a good friend of the show, Ron DeSantis, is in the news again.
Oh, you heard it here first. Ron DeSantis is in the funny video game news. Is that what you're trying to tell us, Cody from Florida?
I was insinuating that, yeah.
And you're trying to tell us that perhaps Mr. DeSantis is perhaps going to be referring to Fighting Force 2 on Dreamcast and PlayStation?
Yeah. So the first slide is let's say the first slide is like a bunch of PlayStation 1 era IDOS games like Fighting Force and Gex and Akuji the Heartless and Soul Reaver and the earlier
Robbie, what are you doing with your hands
games.
there?
The first 3 Tomb Raider games, at least, and I think perhaps 4 and Tomb Raider Chronicles. I don't know if those are still published by Eidos. Were they, Allan?
Yes,
You're the Eidos
They were.
expert.
Yes, I am. I do know all about Eidos, and they did publish the game you said.
Cody?
So Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSantis is saying, wouldn't it be cool if there was a crossover arena fighter with the IDOS franchise?
I think it was called the Unholy War.
That's funny.
And then the developer of Unholy War made
Robbie,
a arena
my button?
battler with LucasArts.
I'm just gonna. I'll hit the button. I'll get it. Hold on.
Okay. Hold for laughter, Cody from Florida.
Which one did you want?
I'll take a hee-hee, please.
Cute hee.
I'll take a hee-hee.
Okay.
What was the name of that one? Wrath Unleashed.
Oh, great.
Wrath Unleashed. That's a little obscure for me even. Wrath Unleashed. Was that the one where it was like a rabbit tied to a mongoose or something?
No, it was sort of like Good Luck Dragons fighting chimeras.
Robbie, why don't you ever talk about Jazz Jackrabbit?
Jazz Jackrabbit, of course, is in the funny video game news because none other than former governor and former Democratic presidential candidate.
Former governor, former president.
Of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Whose name is
Shout out Fruity Spruce. The rabbit tied to the mongoose was Whiplash. Thank you, Fruity Spruce.
Oh, Whiplash. I remember. Of course, yeah, Whiplash. And then there was the one where the animals were running that people didn't like.
Who's talking about Jazz Jackrabbit?
I'm trying to remember the name of the former governor of Massachusetts, Deval Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Deval Patrick is because Jazz Jackrabbit is in the news because Deval Patrick took one look at Jazz Jackrabbit and said,
"Oh, I think you're cut out there, Robbie."
Well,
Oh,
now
I'm
I've
not
got
hearing anything.
right after. So, Jazz Jackrabbit is in the funny video game news because none other than Deval Patrick, the former governor and former presidential candidate, said that now that he has left his political life behind, that he has more time to spend on his, rather than being on the soapbox, he's on the DOS box.
That's great.
That's
funny
how you
video
emulate old computer games. That's funny video game news.
Next up in the funny video game news, Fighting Force 2 is in the funny video game news, Cody from Florida, and it's because Prime Minister of Malaysia, Justice Minister, of Malaysia, Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, it says more like Hawk Manson's back.
That's funny.
Do you understand?
That's funny video game news.
And that's funny video game news. And of course, Alan, you understand the joke, why that's funny video game news.
Yes, I do.
Because
More like Hawk Mason's back.
Hawk Manson's back is unfortunately the most that you do see of Hawk Manson while playing as Hawk Manson in Fighting Force 2.
I hear voices outside.
So if you notice, if you go back through the slides for Fighting Force 2, you'll see Hawk Manson's back.
Oh, so it's more like Hawk Manson's back.
Yeah, so everyone's saying Hawk Manson's back. But then the Justice Minister, the first female Justice Minister of Malaysia, what an interesting country, Malaysia. But she's the only one with her finger on the pulse of the funny video game news, and that she has been able to turn that into almost funny video game news.
Dog Teeth asks, Alan, what kind of soda is Alan drinking? Alan, that has sugar in it. This doesn't have sugar in it. It is Mountain Dew, Zero Sugar Baja Blast. It's a Taco Bell original. It's disgusting.
It's a Taco Bell original. It's on at first. There was a stream some months ago that apparently if you showed Honeydew, what's it called? Mountain Dew on the funny video game news, that then you would get extra followers.
And I don't think they're doing that promotion anymore.
But perhaps the caffeine and the Mountain Dew, the sugar-free Mountain Dew, will bring us back to the equilibrium that we do need to be delivering the funny video game news to the people, like Cody from Florida,
Should you be
like Jazz
mixing Baja
Jackrabbit.
Blast and cough medicine? I don't know if you can mix those.
It says you can.
Alan, where is Baja?
Baja? I think it's in Florida.
Cody? Where's?
No, Baja's in Mexico, my friend.
Oh,
I'll have to
Claudia
double check.
Sheinbaum should
I'll have to double check.
We'll have to double check with none other than current Mexican presidential candidate Claudia Sheinbaum.
No, it says Florida.
Cody, thank you so much for your call, and what an illuminating conversation we always have with you. But we must continue to take a few more calls, and we do have a little bit more funny video game news to explore here live, twitch.tv/EGI_2.
God bless.
Good night and good luck, as they once said in a George Clooney movie.
I cut my tongue.
In the funny video game news, continues with nobody believed it would be possible, but here he is once again, Secretary of State for Leveling Up Housing and Communities, Michael Gove, taking one look at Fighting Force 2 and saying, siphon filter, Alan.
That's really funny. Should I hit the button? Which one?
Hit the deep man.
Male big celebration.
We have a call coming in. No calls coming in. So let's continue on with Alan's special report on Resident Evil 8.
I don't want to do that.
Resident Evil 8: The Village.
Which one is that?
It's the first person one. We've started playing it on the game streams.
I don't watch those.
It's the one with the hat woman. Big hat woman.
I don't care about big hats.
Well, she's big. The hat's not that big.
She's big?
Yeah.
How big?
9 feet tall.
I'm gonna Google it.
Caller, you're on the air with
Robbie, what was it called?
Resident Evil 8: The Village.
Okay.
You're Estebo73 subscribed for tier 1 sub. Michael Gove DLC in a fighting game, Fighting Force 2 remaster. Could be a pip there, Alan. What are people saying about the possibility of a remaster, perhaps by the good folks over at Night Dive Studios, of Fighting Force 2 with all new character skins, perhaps including various members of the current conservative government of the UK.
How do you play this?
I bought the game. It's on. I bought it on a Steam sale, and then I play it live on this on the game streams, which I have to do in the morning because it gets too hot in the office, and then if it gets too warm in the office, my allergies just absolutely won't give me an inch.
You play this live? People watch when you do it?
I've been playing this. I played it for 2 or 3 hours the other day.
You do this for you last 2 or 3 hours and you let people watch?
Anybody that feels like calling in, now's the time to call in while Alan perhaps preps his own what I assume is going to be a fully fleshed out Resident Evil 8 The Village.
I'm gonna need a
special report.
I'll do it next week. I'm gonna need some time to dig into the material and learn about this, because this is interesting.
Oh, we could talk about anything with the calls. We could talk about the funny video game news. We could talk about Nans. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2, twitch.tv/EGI_2. I did low vibe. Robbie, can you try the air purifier? I do try an air purifier, but it simply isn't enough. Sometimes when the temperature gets to where it is, especially that kind of midpoint, so I would say 82, 83 degrees once the sun hits the sunroom, then unfortunately the sinuses start acting quite separately from how I would prefer them to act.
I'm sorry to hear that you were having such a struggle with the weather. Here in Philadelphia today, it was beautiful. This is Catherine from Philly.
Catherine from Philly, always lovely to hear that the great city of brotherly love continues to shower its residents with beautiful sunny days, springtime weather, and the scent of cool breezes wafting off of the rivers that surround the city.
Absolutely, yeah, all kinds of river effect winds, which do what you say for sure. They pass through the flowers, you know.
Catherine, what are people saying on the streets of Philadelphia, like Bruce Springsteen might have sung in days gone by? What are people saying about Fighting Force 2?
They're saying, Fighting Force 2, that's the sequel to Fighting Force 1, I presume. Because they're kind of being exposed to it maybe for the first time.
Robbie, the hat is big too.
Fighting Force 2, now we know that there is a Fighting Force 64, don't we, Catherine from Philly? But is there a Fighting Force 2 64? I don't believe that there is, but I'm getting a little pinch in the back of my head now that I've had the Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Baja Blast does seem to have a bit of a kick.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm here on behalf of the video game taxes information auditing. I'm auditing.
Auditing the video game the video game taxes and information office, the VGITO.
Exactly. Yeah, their contract was good this year, so I took it, and I'm not happy about it, but times are tough, so we're doing it, right?
We must do it.
You have to.
You work for this administration?
Sorry?
You work for this Bureau of Tax Collection?
No. It's like a part-time contract. I'm a music teacher usually, but right now I'm just to do a little extra. I just decided to pick up the. They say, oh, you got to audit people. You got to ask them how much they spent on their games. So I'm here to ask Robbie. He mentioned Resident Evil 8 getting into the Steam sale. How much was that?
I believe that I purchased Resident Evil 8 for the low price of $19.99.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's like 3 years old now.
No, it's about 3 years old. But as as the old habits do die hard, and so it took me 3 years or I bought it with the expectation that I would be playing it in a week after I bought it, but unfortunately I pushed it back 3 years because I did have to play other old PlayStation games, and I found out about the version of Chalkin' the Forever Man for the Dreamcast that I had to do some deep dive videos on. And then I found out about the Bishop, the X-Men game for the 32X that Bishop was starring in. And one thing led to another, and here I am 3 years wiser, but no less terrified by the world of Resident Evil 8 The Village.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, I hate to, people talk about the Dark Souls games a lot. I think this is maybe an angle, but they don't really talk about it in. Those games are full price still, usually,
Absolutely.
And they're old. So, like, I feel like $20 after, like, a 3-year drop-off, that's, like, a pretty good deal. But also Capcom will do that, I feel like. I feel like their stuff can be really discounted.
Well,
anyway,
especially the gold editions. I mean, I want to buy the Resident Evil 7 gold edition for Steam, although I did play it on PlayStation 4. I played and completed it on PlayStation 4. But not having a PlayStation console anymore, I do want to have one in my Steam library in case I want to dive back into that terrifying world of Resident Evil Biohazard 7.
Absolutely.
But the gold edition is the only way to go. And they refused to drop the price below $7.49.
That's it's interesting. I mean that's still pretty good. Under 10. I mean, hey, it's
I'll tell you what I want to spend on Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. $5.99, Allan.
So I got a really crazy headache.
Well, you've taken a bunch of random pills out of my backpack and had some Diet Mountain Dew. So I assume that your body is probably telling you a number of different confusing narratives at the same time.
It was a real big one. It was a real big pill.
Allan, I have to ask, what was the last game you bought, and how much did you spend on it? I know that you're like in a vulnerable position right now. I'm not trying to put you on the spot like this, but it's my job. I can't not ask.
No problem. I take no offense. I always pay full price for a game. If the game I want is on sale, I'll usually wait till it comes off of sale and buy it full price. The last game I bought was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, full price.
Okay.
And it's very fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. I play that every night.
I'm a teacher.
That's beautiful.
I'm a teacher in Philadelphia, but I also work for the man.
Yeah, I know.
Video
I'm a
game tax information office.
Robbie, are you singing?
Yeah.
By the sad river sing that I was living a life I was dreaming.
Is this a real song?
That I was dreaming of the town and the streetcars they were screaming as the sparks rained on down.
What song was that?
That was a song that I made up specifically regarding Catherine's various levels of employment, mixed with various images that you might see if you were to visit Philadelphia.
Wow, Robbie, I had no idea.
That's beautiful.
That was great.
Art is real.
But
art is real.
But Catherine, how did you know the song?
Because I think if you have Philly in your heart, then you just can't lose. But that's what I got. That's what I'm going to leave you with. That's it. That's what I have to say. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Catherine from Philadelphia. Thank you so much. We do have another caller coming in. Right now, caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EGI_2, stream 17. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
This is Puppy Mouth, and I'm calling from Bellflower, California.
Puppy Mouth, what's the scoop as to where you're calling from? What are people saying about Fighting Force 2? What are the songs that people sing on the streets of that classic American city?
No one in Bellflower, I don't even think, knows what Fighting Force is. I just called because you guys said to call.
You call what? So what? But to call is an act of I believe an act of love, an act of support.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is in your heart at this very moment, Puppy Mouth?
I'm playing Stardew, and I have to collect 100 bugs to get their bug meat and give it to Willie.
Allan,
what's
is Willie the one? Do you believe that you'll marry Willie?
No, he's an unmarriable townie. He's the fish guy.
You can still change him, Puppy Mouth. That's what they always say. That's what the old wives' tales are.
Probably because he did tell me that I'm a woman after his own heart because I'm such a good fisherman.
Mossy Lump in the chat says, Allan, if your eyes are still hurting from the hot sauce, you can just take more of Robbie's loose pills, grind them into a paste, and just smear it on there, and you'll feel great.
Thank you for the advice. I maybe I'll do that.
Napoleon Blown Apart in the chat says, King of Fighters, and I have to agree. Puppy Mouth in the Bellflower, Washington. Bellflower, California. Washington's a
Puppy Mouth.
That's their name.
What's my name?
Puppy Mouth from Blown Apart, California.
Where?
What a Bellflower.
For when one walks out of the front door and Bellflower,
Puppy Mouth, do you have a dog?
No, I have a cat.
Okay.
Okay. Send us pictures of the cat at some point, and we'll show them on It's the Arts, one of the classic EGI2 Stream 17 segments that we will eventually get to if we ever get that Resident Evil 8 presentation from EGI special correspondent Allan Resnick.
And which one is Resident Evil 8?
The one with the big hat woman.
Oh, okay.
Puppy Mouth, are you a Resident Evil 8 head, or what's your scoop on that whole series and where it's going and where it's been and where it's going?
That's the one with the big lady?
Yes, the big hat lady.
All I know is that it had a big giant lady with a big hat. I don't know much else about it because the Resident Evil games are kind of scary. Like they're too scary for me to play.
And she had, she's so big that she had to duck through doors. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she didn't have enough money, I guess, to build herself a house that was more to scale.
Can you Can you imagine, Allan, having to build a bigger house for a bigger woman?
Yes, actually.
But wouldn't you want to maybe make the house a bit smaller so the woman seemed even larger?
I would want the woman to feel comfortable.
Puppy Mouth, what do you think?
That's a tough one because, you do want to get the most out of your relationship. You want to live your fantasies, so I would go half and half. Like maybe the common areas can be to scale, but then you have special rooms that she has to come into that make her very large.
I would have the whole house be big for her, be her house, and a little on me. And this honestly isn't a concern for me. If this happened by accident, I would definitely forgive the woman, and I would not hold it against her.
That's big of you.
Sound off in the chat. Sound off in the chat if the stream is okay, if you can hear us and you hear the things we say.
Puppy Mouth, what's the next game that you're looking forward to this year? Obviously, we're all excited about the big Stardew Valley updates that have been coming down the pipe as the people behind that game series bring us more free content, expanded.
Oh yeah, it's like massive.
Options.
They added so much.
What do you think you'll be spending?
I'm looking forward to.
You talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
You talk first.
I'm looking forward to Fantasy Life 2, but I'm also nervous about it. I don't want to count your chickens before they hatch or something?
I think it's count your bed knobs before the posts fall over.
I like to pre-order these big budget games without any real information, just based off of usually the first game trailer they release. I'll just pre-order the most expensive version of the game and just hope for the best.
Allan, she was talking about Fantasy Life 2, and that begs the question: what kind of a fantasy life do you picture for yourself?
Just sort of what kind of if I had, well, okay, Robbie, you spilled some soda. What kind of a fantasy life would I have? My fantasy life would honestly be just to spend more time with you.
Aw.
Puppy mouth?
I would want to be like a demon with a flamethrower and wings.
A demon with a flamethrower and wings. So
Yeah.
From the pit itself, you would bring the pit with you.
Yes, in
Good.
a container.
Good gracious! What a monstrosity you would be if you had a demon winged flamethrower beast.
Yes, it would be so cool.
Well, thank you for your call, Puppy Mouth. We do have to get to the Resident Evil 8 The Village presentation from EGI2 special correspondent Allan Resnick.
Robbie,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for your call, Robbie. I want nothing more than to please you and to give you pleasure with my special report. And it is deep sorrow that I have to admit that I don't have a report this week, because had I known that this was the kind of game you were going to assign to me, I would have done the report. But generally speaking, the kinds of games you text me and tell me to do reports about, they're these weird games that people don't like. They're not good games, not fun games, and I don't like these games. And so I don't enjoy doing the special reports. But if I knew you were going to have me do a modern game with great graphics and a big, tall, giant woman the size of a big building, I would have, yes, of course I would have done that. And I want to just express my deep apologies to you that I disappointed you. I never want to disappoint you. And I want to please the audience. I want to please Robbie and pleasure him. And I apologize. So forgive me. Back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan, and thank you for that very decent apology. You're a decent man. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And are you ready to play Screenshot? What's it called?
It's the arts? No.
Screenshot You Guess Now.
Oh, what is it?
Screenshot You Guess Now. Are you ready to play Screenshot You Guess Now?
Hopefully.
Screenshot You Guess Now.
Well, just a second, caller. Hold on. Screenshot You Guess Now. Guess now. You must guess the screenshot now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? Just so we know.
This is Kat from Ithaca.
Kat from Ithaca, the beautiful, what is it?
Ithaca's gorgeous.
It's Pep. Kat, are you ready to play Screenshot? You guess now. None of the buttons work. It's here. Sorry. Screenshot, you guess now. Kat?
Is that the screenshot?
Is there a screenshot?
You guess now.
Now?
Not. First up on Screenshot, you guess now is first screenshot of the evening.
Maybe it was just a night at level.
There it is. Oh. Nope, that's from last. That's the last time we did it. We should have new screenshot. You guess now. Kat from Ithaca. We're having a bit of a technical difficulties. Everybody's hopped up on various Benadryls and other substances.
My jaw stick.
I want to promise the audience that our lymph nodes are not swollen.
It's hard to open my
we
mouth.
are, in fact, having just actual seasonal allergies as a result of there being a bounty of wet weather followed by a beautiful day in the city of Angels, Allan Resnick. Kat, what's the scoop in Ithaca these days?
Gorgeous.
Not much. It's also been raining a lot in Ithaca, but luckily I don't really get allergies that much, so I'm okay.
She's okay, Allan.
Okay, great. Congrats.
And Kat from Ithaca, are you prepared to play Screenshot? You guess now?
I think so.
There it is. There's the screenshot.
It's the arts.
I can't. Oh, okay, there it is.
What is that?
Ooh.
What do you think that is?
Okay. Well.
I can't tell.
So there's some kind of creature, in a library in the forest.
And if you get it right, Cat from Ithaca, don't look at the chat because they're going to tell you. I want to know that you know this from the bottom of that dear heart of yours. And if you get it right, then I want you to email electronicgameinformation@gmail.com with a picture that you believe is a picture of you, a representation of yourself that you would like us to show on the program for our first ever EGI2 Screenshot You Guess Now leaderboard.
Do I have to send a picture of me?
You can any visual representation of whatever you want it. Whatever it could be a picture of
Ithaca
with like a giant eyeball at the center of it, for all I care.
Okay, that sounds cool. So I'm no longer looking at the chat.
Screenshot You Guess Now.
I'm gonna say it's Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler is correct.
Oh wow!
Wow, you did it.
I did it.
So this was just this.
How did you do that?
This is some breaking news. Breaking EGI2 news. We are going to start having a Screenshot You Guess Now leaderboard.
And you're on the leaderboard. You're the first.
So you
guest
are the first official contestant, or not contestant. I mean, I guess you are technically a contestant, but what is it? You are a member of an elite club now, Cat from Ithaca.
Okay, that's really wonderful, but I'm feeling a little guilty now, and I think I have to say that before you told me to not look at the chat, I did glance briefly at the chat.
Hold on, I have a button. Hold on, I have a button.
Oh.
I'm just trying to be honest.
Thank you for being honest, and we do believe that is the correct way to be, is honesty and truth, and knowing when to be true and when to be honest, and when to lie.
I'm not mad.
Because sometimes some people do have to lie to make it through their day to day.
I'm not mad.
Yeah.
No one's
true.
mad at
Sometimes
you,
you have to lie.
Cat from Ithaca, but unfortunately you will not be our first member of the EGI2 Screenshot You Guess Now leaderboard.
Maybe a second.
That's all right.
A second chance.
A second chance for Cat from Ithaca?
For being honest, you get a second chance.
What
Don't
do you
look
say,
at the
Catherine?
chat. Don't look at the chat.
Cat. Sorry, not Catherine.
Okay. Let me close the chat.
Yeah, close the chat. Second chance.
Okay.
Ithaca is gorgeous.
Ithaca is gorgeous. Second chance.
Gorgeous.
Current poll for forgiving Cat. You kidding me? If that poll doesn't show 100%, I'm gonna flip this table.
100% yes.
100% forgived. So vote for forgiveness. I can't see the poll, so I don't know if there's a third option. But don't vote for the third option if it's in there.
Is there an OBJ
yes,
option?
no, and always.
I have to flip this. I am gonna
Vote
flip
for
the table.
Vote for yes. They're all
I will
voting
flip
for
the
yes.
table.
Don't put that.
I've got hot sauce. I've got water and Mountain Dew.
When making the polls, whoever's making these, don't ever put that one option that makes Robbie hit that button I don't like.
Cat from Ithaca, are you ready? Are you prepared to play Screenshot You Guess Now?
Yes, I am.
All right. Next up, this one.
That's the same one. What
Oh,
the?
I know this one. Octopath Traveler.
And what's this?
Cat, you're on knife's edge.
Okay. Well, I can't see it. Oh, a dog. Okay.
Cell shaded.
Ooh.
Got a glow to it. What is that dog?
I have no idea. Unfortunately.
No idea. You want to just take a random guess and maybe you'll get it?
Look at the graphics.
Look at the graphics. Look at the bloom.
It's from Half-Life 2.
And I will remind you, Cat from Ithaca, that I do take these screenshots myself. So this would have been a game that I would have played on a system that takes screenshots that are then easy to share
That's a clue.
And was it Half-Life 2?
It was not Half-Life 2. Hit the sad sound button over there if you would do so.
Hold on, I have a couple. Damn.
Captain Mythica, you may have lost the war, but you have kept your heart, you have kept your soul intact, rather than tattering it with the claw of lies.
That's true. I'm just happy I didn't want to break the circle of trust, so I appreciate the second chance, even though I didn't make it to the leaderboard, and good luck to whoever goes next.
Well, thank you for that, Kat from Mythica, and we will talk to you, I'm sure, again sometime soon. We do have another caller in. We do have another screenshot that hopefully nobody is looking at chat
don't
for
look at the
hints
chat.
over.
If you're going to call in, if you're
don't
thinking
look at
of
the chat.
calling in, don't look at the chat.
Wait. No, go back to.
Do they get to guess on the dog?
Yes, we're still on that. Caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EGI_2. We're having a bit of technical difficulties because of, again, allergy season, but we must press forward with a screenshot. You guess now.
That sounds great, Robbie. I'm glad to be back here.
Who are you?
This is Nick from Tacoma, Robbie.
Nick from Tacoma. Screenshot. You guess now.
Don't look at the chat.
The chat is away.
Did you look before you called?
No, as soon as it picked up, I full screen, so the chat is not visible.
Well,
I saw nothing.
It's the same dog screenshot. Were you watching the show before?
Screenshot. You guess now.
I did not see. I saw someone in the chat said "dog to path traveler," and I thought that was very funny. I truly have no idea. So am I still guessing on the dog screenshot?
I can't believe that nobody's getting this game. This is a to me this is like a tremendous knife in the back. In fact, one might say that it is a I've been chained to it.
Hold on.
Is that a clue? I don't know what that means. You've been chained.
I've been chained. I've been chained to it.
You've been chained to the screenshot.
Chained to it.
Something with a chain.
Get a screenshot. There's something with a chain. Is it? I'm gonna go with a dog's life.
Unfortunately, it is incorrect, and I do see that our forgive cat poll is not at 100% to forgive cat, and I have said that I would flip the table, and now I will flip the table as soon as the poll ends.
But now hold on, Robbie.
Wow, oh man, I'm screaming or smile right now.
So let's not have that happen again, Allan.
Okay, but the rest of the poll was for always, which also seems like a yes.
It's still not 100%.
Okay.
Caller, care to guess one more time? You guess now.
Rob, I know this is unprecedented, Robbie, but could I guess on a different screenshot, because I gotta be real, the dog one and the chain is.
What kind of pigeon show do you think this is?
Like I said, I wanted to preface that it's unprecedented, but I wanted to throw it out there.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we cannot accept that, and you must now leave the building. But since you have not looked at the chat and you have not lied to us, that you have kept your heart intact, you have kept your truth intact, and you may leave, knowing that your honesty has left you in a better place than many other people, many liars throughout the history of the human race.
Well, I'm glad I can take that with me this evening. Thanks for having me, Robbie. Back to you, Allan.
Now back to you, Allan. What are people saying in chat about this? Are we being a bit harsh on the boy?
Brett66 says, but it is a donkey show. I don't know what that means.
It's a pigeon show.
It's a pigeon show. Oh.
When it's a pigeon show, when the pigeons show up and they start bobbing their heads and
Estibo73
pecking at
says,
each other.
is pigeon a veiled clue, perhaps? Or is that a clue?
For what?
I think the screenshot game. You guess now. What is it called?
You guess now.
Oh.
Caller, you're on the air with EGI, twitch.tv/EGI_2. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And are you ready to screenshot You Guess Now?
I think so. Calling from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
New York.
Brooklyn.
That's what they scream at the top of their lungs in the various the party people. Brooklyn's a party town, so people scream the name Brooklyn.
Yes. Agree.
Caller, screenshot You Guess Now.
Life is Strange. No?
Nope.
Oh, let me hit the button. Hold on.
Alan's got to hit the button. Keep putting. There it is.
I have a couple. I have this one too. And I don't know if this one works. It's called Disappointed 2.
No, you maybe have one of those buttons where people scream Brooklyn?
Was I close?
No, not even. I mean,
what was the guess? Life is Strange?
Life is Strange. No, it was pretty far off, I have to say. Care to guess one more time?
Oh,
just because we do believe in generosities.
What was
that? Kind of like that.
What was it?
That where you just like walk around a lot and look at stuff.
Walk around and look at stuff?
Yeah, one of those other games where you just walk around and look at stuff.
Maybe
like
another.
What?
Maybe another clue.
You're talking about like walking simulators?
Yeah.
Like Dear Esther and what's that other one?
Oh, that's the other one. That's the one I was gonna guess.
You think
Dear Esther?
Hold on there, Brooklyn. You think that's from Dear Esther?
I mean, it's been a long time, so sure.
Allan?
Is the caller's name Brooklyn?
No, as a kind of a warmth. Oftentimes, you refer to people as the places that they're from. This is the first caller that I believe that we've had from Brooklyn, so I'm just going to call them Brooklyn. And the way that I might call you at some point, Rochester.
That's not where I'm from.
Where are you from?
I don't know. You should know this. Tallahassee.
You're from Tallahassee too?
What?
I thought you were from Brooklyn.
You're from Brooklyn.
No, I'm not from Tallahassee. You're from Tallahassee.
I'm from Tallahassee.
But you said
Allan's from Rochester. You're from Brooklyn.
I'm not from Rochester.
Wait. Am I from Rochester?
You're from Tallahassee.
I mean, this could go on all night, but we need to guess this screenshot You Guess Now. And I promise you it's not from Dear Esther.
Is it a dog game?
Yeah. Is it a dog walking simulator?
Oh, that's a good idea for a game. A dog walking simulator.
Oh, God. All right.
Does that exist? A dog walking simulator? That's a really good idea for a game.
There's dog walking simulators. There's dog racing simulators. There's dog raising simulators.
What about do they do dog fights?
I think that's illegal. Dog racing, like.
Well, no, the dogs aren't being. The dogs are fully in control of their lives in dog racing games.
Oh, like
they
chose to race.
Are they betting against each other?
They're just in it for the win.
For the love of the thrill of the run.
The thrill of having the wind whip through your ears while your you taste the saliva of the dog in front of you.
Robbie, is this screenshot from one of these dog racing simulators?
No, it's from Astral Chain.
Damn it. Shoot.
I got nothing.
Caller, would you? We do believe in this is we are of course having a number of technical issues with you. Guess now, screenshot You Guess Now. So let's go ahead and give you one more chance.
Second chance.
Caller from Brooklyn, who we refer to as Brooklyn from now on.
Oh.
Next up, this one.
That's the same one.
Well, there's a
no, wait for a second.
Oh no, okay, that's okay. Oh wait, oh. See, I'm looking at the map. Looks like we're looking south. That's a clue, I think.
Don't look at the chat.
I'm not. I closed the chat before I called.
Good.
Barrel.
Photo. Floor.
Barrel.
Wall. Corner. Health.
Health bar.
Some sort of a.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
How about this? It is a game that looks like two games combined. Screenshot, you guess
I'm
now.
thinking. Red Dead Redemption is the game that it's trying to look like. No.
How you can believe that to be a...
It wouldn't. There's wood everywhere.
There is wood.
This is a...
There is wood, there is trees, and there is wind.
Wind. And I'm noticing the shadows on the ground are quite jagged. If that's a shadow.
Yes, the geometry of this game does seem quite simplistic.
This is child.
Almost as if it could be blown away by the wind.
You played this game?
Oh, I think that was a clue. I think I know it.
Oh.
I have played this
Gone-
game. I
Gone
take
with-
these screenshots
Gone with the
myself.
Wind.
I think I know it.
Final guess.
You have a guess?
No, Gone with the Wind. Final guess.
Oh, Gone with the Wind.
Gone
That's
with
a
the Wind.
movie.
You're having a good time.
That's a movie.
But that's unfortunately incorrect, and you unfortunately will not be our first EGI2 family member to make it to the EGI2 You Guess Now leaderboard. Screenshot You Guess Now. Raise your head, baby. Why did you take this screenshot, Robbie? And Allan, why did people ask this question to me all the time? Why do you take these screenshots?
Yes, I was wondering.
Because there's moments when I just am playing a game and I'm having such an enjoyable time that I just want to take a little bit of a memory, so that when I look back at playing games like Astral Chain or Octopath Traveler, I can say, I was there, I did that thing, I saw that beast, or I saw that, I guess, flat shaded barrel.
If I guess, do I get to go on the leaderboard?
You would get to go on the leaderboard because
I'd
I
like to
know for a fact that you have not played this game, so
well,
I can imagine
hold
that
on.
you're not going
I
to
have a
get-
question.
You do have a question.
Is it a remaster?
It is not a remaster. It is a separate. It is a completely unique title.
But it's about wind.
No.
But you kept referencing wind.
Well, because that's a clue.
Is it Wind Waker?
No.
Oh wait, I got one more guess.
That was
One more guess.
That was a good guess. I will say that was warmer than whatever nonsense Brooklyn came up with.
Gone with the Wind, the film.
Is it Rec Room?
Rec Room?
The VR game Rec Room.
No, it's not Rec Room.
Oh.
That's a good guess, though. I like that. Not because it was even close to what it is, but still a good guess.
Why did you make such a big deal about wind?
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
for playing EGI2's Screenshot You Guess Now. Caller from Brooklyn,
No,
who
thank
we'll
you.
refer to from here on out as Brooklyn, but we must hang up on you, sadly. No one else wants to guess? This is why it's good for the guests to stay for the entire time. I had hoped that she would taste some of the hot sauce and you know, have a bit of a meltdown, and then we would ask her questions, and then she would be angry at us because of the amount of hot sauce that she had in her mouth, but we didn't get it.
Why did you have a guest come that left?
Well, because Monday nights are just kind of a tough night to get guests, Allan, and we have not. We've gotten lucky a few times, but we've gotten less lucky other times, and I won't say which is which, but it's for some reason Monday nights in Los Angeles it's just hard to book. Caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EGI_2 screenshot. You guess now.
Hey, the game in picture with the ship. If I guess to kind of get a hint, what platform is it on?
This is a multi-platform, independent developed. I won't say what type of genre it is, but it is a fully indie. It's an indie developed game. It's been on the simplistic side, but it is on. I played this on the Nintendo Switch.
It's not Wind Waker. It's not Gone with the Wind.
Of course, it wouldn't be Gone with the Wind. And yeah,
But
it
it-
looks
but-
like
but
Wind
the-
Waker, but the
but
thing
the
is,
name-
Wind
It's
Waker
not
was
Rec Room.
never first person,
Say that again.
so it's not Wind Waker for sure. It's not that game, but it kind of, I could tell it's probably got an aesthetic that's inspired by it. But now, in terms of what exactly the game is it? Shoot.
So maybe it would help you to imagine you're Robbie, you're playing this game, you're wandering, you're walking. We know there's walking in this game, and you come to this house maybe, and you see this barrel in the corner, and you say, "I want to take a screenshot of this. I want to remember this." I don't know if that helps.
I'm trying to be in that mindset right now. That there are so many games with ships, but none that specifically have this sort of minimal style that kind of looks like Untitled Goose Game, but I don't think it's from the same team.
Allan, I'm not hearing it from the callers. I'm not hearing it from the chat. I'm worried that I may have crafted too deep a cut for this one.
Maybe we skip this one.
Maybe.
What are we thinking, chat? Are we skipping this one?
Robbie, do you know what it is?
I can't check
know what
chat
it
right
is.
now.
I
Because,
took the
I know
screenshot.
the rule is to not look at chat.
Do you have any more clues?
I do think that after people realize what this game is, they will be interested to check it out. It's not what I would put in the, I would maybe even struggle to put it in the 6 out of 10 category, 6 to 7 out of 10 category. But I do think that it is there's some enjoyable moments, and there's some interesting environments, and I believe people are can people buy clues? How does that work? How would people buy clues?
People would be, when they become contestants on the show, they'd be given a set amount of things they could do. Like they'd be given 3 things they could do to guess. They could, throughout their time on the show, they could phone a friend. They could be given they could request a clue. They could have some of the a choice eliminated, I believe, and they would spend their points on these different options, and that would help them figure out what the hell this is. Because I can't, for the life of me, I have no idea what this is. I don't even know. Is this a game or a drawing?
This is a game. This is a game. Or we skip. Well, let's see what the current poll is saying right now. Why are the polls so damn long?
Oh yeah, that's going for a bit. You could probably self-time it. Like, I don't know.
Give us a hint.
They want a hint.
They want a hint.
Okay, so it's an action. Let's try hint first.
Yeah.
So it's an action. It's a action adventure with light RPG elements.
Thank you so much for gifting
from
a tier 1
first-person
sub,
perspective.
whoever did it.
But it's also a kind of a dumbed down version of Skyrim.
Dumb Skyrim. That is a good clue. So it's a dumbed down version of Skyrim that looks
What year
bad.
did it come out? I'm not actually sure what year it came out,
What
but I bought it
console?
on the Nintendo Switch.
A knockoff of Skyrim that looks bad. Ooh, the soda's but not reacting good with the pill.
No, it's not.
And I feel it behind my
In fact,
eye.
there was a moment when I thought that maybe the soda was making my sinuses wet again, but unfortunately,
my eyes hurt
they've
back,
dried out
back
fully.
behind the back of that cornea. You know how on the back of the lens of the eye will flip, the image that you see refracted in the lens of the eye is upside down, but the mind corrects for that inversion? Something about drinking that Mountain Dew has made it so that the image, my mind is not correcting for the inversion. So everything looks upside down for me still.
Slice of Gold says dumber version of Skyrim. How is that possible? Am I right, fellas? And I'm not sure who the fellas are, but let's get them out of here.
Can we ban?
I want this to be a positive experience for people. Caller?
This is still, there's like so many games that look like this.
Just Google bad dumb Skyrim ripoff Switch, bad graphics barrel.
Miss
OK says Skyrim's fine, but it's
That's-
no moral
that's
one
kinda-
tonight.
that's kinda hard to narrow
I'll go
down.
ahead and agree with that. Caller, what did you just say?
That one's kind of hard to narrow down, but I guess
Mossy
I'm
Lump
going
in
to
the
take
chat
a
is
long
the-
shot
is
here.
The closest
I know I'm
that
going to get this
anyone's
one.
been
Oh.
so far with this one.
Is it windbound? Mossy Lump asks, is it windbound? So does it have wind in the name? Is that why you were making such a big deal about the word wind?
Estivo73 with asks Unity Engine. Yes.
Unity Engine, okay. That's
Okay, Unity Engine game.
Lots of
I
bad
think
games
I'm
on
pretty
there.
sure it's a Unity Engine game.
Wind Peak. Mossy Lump, is it Wind Peak?
I
Is
don't
that a
even
game?
know.
Is that a real game?
Is that a game, Mossy? Is that an actual game, Mossy Lump?
Sound off in the chat if that's a real game. I like to think that people are scrolling through Twitch, they're looking at what they could watch, and they see a little thumbnail of a corner with a barrel and a picture, and they stop and they say, what's this about?
Well,
they
I
watch
will
it, and the numbers juice right up, and suddenly we have a spike of viewers, and the show becomes a big hit.
Callers, someone in the chat has guessed correctly, and I want to say breaking news, someone in the chat has
I'm not
guessed
checking chat.
correctly.
I can't do that.
But I won't allow the caller to look at the chat and
Exactly.
reap that benefit for
Well,
themselves.
I think we should just give it to the guesser in the chat and move on.
Honestly, yeah. I was gonna say I was gonna go for a long shot and guess Valheim, but I know in my heart it's not Valheim.
No, it's not Valheim. I'm sorry to say. Where you're calling from? What are people saying about Fighting Force 2?
This is Alex from California. Fighting Force 2. For some reason I didn't remember it being that much of a shooter. Oh man. I remember playing the first Fighting slot, but yeah. Back to you, Robbie.
Alex from California, always a wonderful person to have on the show, don't you think so, Alan?
Absolutely, I love all the callers.
So so I'm going to go ahead and just put everyone out of their misery. Mossy Lump in the chat did in fact guess correctly. It was Windscape.
Windscape. Oh shoot, I was going to guess that.
Windscape is of course a very good solid afternoon play if you've got kind of like one ear listening to perhaps the audio edition of the PBS NewsHour and the other ear listening to Windscape.
Windscape.
So Mossy Lump in the chat has not called in to play our challenge screenshot you guess now, but I do believe that Mossy Lump, perhaps if you want to email us a avatar like image that was a deep cut and you did a good job of guessing at it, so I believe that we could award that person the first spot on our EGI2 screenshot you guess now
Congratulations,
leaderboard.
Mossy Lump. That's great. Windscape. It doesn't sound like a game. It sounds like maybe a web browser from the 90s or something that would play MP3s or WAV files. But I guess it's a bad Switch game.
It's a game where you walk around with a sword and you hit things until they pass off.
Congratulations
to Mossy Lump for that. Do we have time for one more screenshot you guess now?
You asking me? I believe we have plenty of time.
Let's do it. Caller, we have any callers calling in right now for screenshot you guess now, or are people a bit I promise that this next one is not as deep of a cut. Caller, you're on the air with EGI2, twitch.tv/EGI_2, screenshot you guess now. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And you see the screenshot you guess now?
Hey, Robbie, it's Gio from Texas. I can see the screenshot. I cannot see the chat. Well, okay. So you said this was not as deep a cut.
It's not as deep of a cut. I promise you that. This is a game that articles have been written about.
I think I know what it is.
I want to say... Okay, so I know this isn't right, but I think my best guess is Breath of the Wild.
I don't think so.
Fortunately, Gio from Texas, it is not Breath of the Wild, although that was a good guess. Allan Resnick, what are your thoughts about Gio from Texas?
Can I guess?
You can guess.
Abzu.
It is Abzu. So Allan Resnick, you are also on the leaderboard with Mossy Lump for the EGI2 You Guess Now leaderboard. Whenever that graphics package comes together, we will be placing
What game is that? Abzu?
Abzu. It's kind of a swim around,
I've never
look
heard
at
of
fish,
that.
grab onto fish, hit buttons every once in a while kind of game.
I'm proud of myself. I I looked at it and I thought Abzu. Just pulled that right out of my head.
Absolutely.
Great job. Back to you, Allan.
Congratulations. Back to you.
But caller, Allan did steal your thunder. He did take your chance away from getting
I'm on the
Screenshot You
board.
Guess Now onto the leaderboard. Are you willing to try for your own purposes?
Yeah, I can go again.
Next up, this one.
This doesn't look like
Give
a
it a second.
Huh.
Ooh.
What is that?
So this looks like my kind of game. I haven't played it.
Is this a game or a painting?
I definitely want this game, but I don't know what it is.
There's a lot of cool stuff in it.
I'm seeing some people in the chat seem to be quite taken with the pixel art in this Screenshot You Guess Now. But
So it's
far,
definitely
I am not...
like a cyberpunk, sort of the same kind of vibes as maybe that Rise of the Dragon game. It's not Rise of the Dragon.
That's honestly that it is not Rise of the Dragon, but it is not even close to being correct. But I do love that guess. Cinnamina in the chat seems to know what it is,
similar.
but don't you, Gio from Texas, go looking at the chat right now.
No, I can't see the chat. Although I do think I'm gonna have to turn it over because I don't know what this is.
Any chances? Any other random guesses? It's from Gio from Texas.
Is this a screenshot you took, or is this?
This is a screenshot that I did take. Yes. And I will give you a hint that this is at the end of the game.
Can you take
I don't.
screenshots from websites?
I have no idea. I've not played it. I want to play it. I'm eager to hear what it is so I can wish list it, but I don't know what it is.
It's an enchanting image. Robbie, are you texting?
No, I'm not texting. I am making sure that people in the chat are still guessing, and so far I have not seen the correct guess. But I do believe that this is this is the kind of screenshot that when people are scrolling through the front pages of Twitch, perhaps in the carousel, they see this and it juices the numbers. Don't you think so, Allan?
Let me check.
I don't think that dragon could fit through that door.
The numbers are down.
Numbers are how much down are they?
We normally average around 90 to 100 viewers. We're at 77. So please tell your friends to watch this. Tell them about my Abzu guess, and tell the other channels to rate us. I'm looking at here. This other channel's got 15,000 people. It's
Breaking news: somebody in the chat has guessed it correctly.
Oh, don't look at the chat, you guys.
But don't look in the chat, Gio from Texas.
Well, so I'm confused. When people guess in the chat, do they get on the board? Because Mossy guessed in the chat.
I think only if we're desperate.
Oh, okay. Where we make a guess?
I'm gonna
So
go.
I am desperate.
Unfortunately, caller, I'm gonna let you go, and just because we are running a bit long on a screenshot you guess now, I'm guessing that the screenshot.
Yeah, I want to give someone else a chance. Back to you, Allan.
This in the chat has got it correct. It is 1980X.
1980X.
A game where you play various games in an arcade that evoke the 16-bit and arcade era.
It's a game, or it's like a bunch of games?
It's a game. We basically play as a kid who's going through some sort of family household issues, and you go to an arcade and you play games that kind of make you feel a little bit more empowered.
Sounds quite fun.
Congratulations, Visk, and go ahead and send us a profile or avatar picture that you want to use for the EGI2 Screenshot You Guess Now leaderboard. Visk2 is on the board.
Yay!
With
welcome.
Allan and Mossy.
Welcome.
So
Anyone else?
Quite an accomplishment there. We're all tied for one.
We're all in good company.
But we do have time for just one more Screenshot You Guess Now, I believe. Callers or if anybody wants to call in, or perhaps we will rely on the chat for this one because we do want to keep things moving along so we get to It's the Arts momentarily. Let's do that. Next up, Screenshot You Guess Now. Caller, you're on the air with twitch.tv/EGI_2. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what is this screenshot?
I think you're supposed to say you guess now.
Hey, this is Nathan Vegetable from the LA's.
Nathan Vegetable from LA area. Nathan Vegetable, the one chance that you have right now to get on the leaderboard is tonight. What are you seeing and what are you thinking? And what is the screenshot you guess now?
I am thinking that the pixel art in the bottom right reminds me of like Simon's Quest. I mean, clearly this is, nowhere near
Very
that.
interesting. Very interesting.
Certainly something inspired by that era of pixel art.
And you're not looking at the chat, are you?
I have it open, but my eyes are not looking at it. I will actually get rid of it right now.
I believe that this is, of all the games that we've shown on Screenshot You Guys Now, this is probably the one that has received the widest amount of acclamation and coverage outside of EGI 2.
I do not know based off of just this screenshot. I'm not familiar with that game.
Nathan Vegetable, you don't want to even take. I'm gonna say that you were a bit warm with your earlier guess.
So there is. Oh man, what is that one Castlevania-like game that I played?
Robbie, look.
This breaking news.
Robbie, look
this
who's
just
here.
in. Two women have walked into the EGI 2 studio.
Wow.
It's two women, and that is of course never been done, never been seen before on twitch.tv/EGI_2.
Wow. Oh
Come
my
to
God.
Save,
Wow.
Come to save the show. Come to save our souls, and come to save.
Will they eat the hot sauce?
No. No.
Where?
We will be here for.
Oh, blasphemous! That's what I was thinking of. Blasphemous.
Unfortunately, it is not blasphemous, Nathan Vegetable. It is, in fact, someone in the chat got it right the first time. It is Sarah. What's happening right now?
I was trying to. Sorry.
I'm just gonna set a timer for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna go.
Katie and Sarah are here for 5 minutes at the end of
I'm not Sarah.
twitch.tv/. I didn't say Sarah. I said, what did I say?
You said Katie and Sarah.
You said Katie and Sarah?
Who's
And
Sarah?
Who's Sarah?
I don't know.
I think there's
Anna
a
was here
third woman.
before, but someone's. But
Is
then
there- I think
why
we-
are people talking about
is there-
Sarah? There's
is there a
two
third-
women here.
No, but who's
So
Sarah?
did the clock already start?
Yeah, we
Nathan
are.
Vegetable,
We have 4
glad
minutes
to
and
hear-
36 seconds left.
Katie Fischel, so happy to have you here. We did do the funny video game news already. We have people in the chat and on here in the studio have guessed correctly the screenshot you guessed now. This is show.
Okay.
Just now left, and this is it.
Okay. What is that?
So we're obviously having a wonderful time. We're having a wonderful evening. The allergy medicine has caused us to perhaps lose a little bit of the alacrity that we would normally be showing on the EGI 2 Stream 17. Anna Sarah Gina.
Oh, Sarah Gina. Anna Sarah Gina. Yes, Anna.
What do you say, Anna?
What is this?
This is screenshot. You guess now. It's a game where we show screenshots that I have taken myself of games that I am playing and show them to the EGI 2 audience with the hope. And then this is the screenshot.
So what is that?
So what does that say to you, Anna and Katie?
And why did you come back here?
And
But first, please guess the screenshot.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead and go first.
Katie Fishel, you obviously live with a gamer of sorts, and so I believe that there's a slight possibility that you would have been exposed to
Katie,
this if you.
are you a gamer?
Even if you were not a gamer yourself.
No, sir, I'm not. Alan,
Okay.
I played Spyro once when I was a kid.
Spyro.
Turbo's a Rover. What was the Castlevania-like game Nathan played? It was blasphemous.
Guess Spyro.
Is it Spyro the Dragon?
Oh. Is it Crash?
Spyro is a good guess.
Katie's
Crash
mic not
Bandicoot?
on?
Oh, is my mic not
Oh,
on?
it should be.
Here.
Oh, perhaps.
Is it Spyro the Dragon?
It's
I
not
repeat, is it Spyro the
It's
Dragon?
not Crash Bandicoot. I don't know.
The game that I know is Crash
This is
Bandicoot.
obviously not Spyro or Crash. I'm not sure exactly how you came to that conclusion.
Little Man on Statue of Liberty?
Little Man on Statue of Liberty is the closest guess I think that we've had so far on EGI2's screenshot. You guess now. And again, if you're just joining us, this is the first time that we've had two women on twitch.tv/EGI.
Is it a tired
So
woman?
this is obviously a milestone that we must all plant our feet in the sand and appreciate.
Robbie, offer the
I think it's the
offer
first
them the
time
hot
a lot of us
1
have
minute,
seen
39 seconds.
And one of the things that I just want to point out is that one of the things that sometimes people do to goose the numbers when multiple women come on a streaming show is to watch them, to watch anyone really, to consume the hot sauce and to see what happens to their eyes,
No, thank you.
to when it burns the tongue and the eyes, and maybe you get some in your ears even. It could be anything.
But this was actually, it was processed in a facility that uses soy, so.
I was told that we could just come in and say hi. I wasn't told anything about that.
It's halal certified.
spicy
No
food.
preservative. It's vegetarian, vegan. It's African ghost peppers.
Is it spicy?
And it would
I think could you just get Robbie to drink it?
If anybody
That would
Did you
actually
guys-
be nice, yeah.
Sound off in the chat. Do a poll if you think Robbie should taste the ghost peppers.
In the next 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
In the next
44
45
Just
seconds.
say,
45
just say that
seconds.
you'll taste some if Robbie tastes some, but then just don't uphold your side of the promise.
Okay. As women, we often have to make promises.
And
This could be a political act to not.
And as men who respect women so dearly, we must hold those women to that promise.
And the screenshot is actually of a woman being burdened by.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
The weight of a very small man.
I think that you're
In a small
unfortunately,
promise,
That
yeah.
to me, if I look at that and I see that's some sort of weird sort of version of the
12
statue.
seconds, 11
of Satan.
seconds.
If you have any questions for women, you have 9 seconds.
8
Oh,
seconds.
if you have any
Sound off in the
questions for
chat
women,
if
if
you
you have
want.
any desire
5
for the
seconds.
hot sauce, for
Four,
the women to
three,
drink the hot sauce,
2,
then
1.
We have to go.
Oh shoot.
We do.
Really?
Okay,
Oh.
there it is.
We have to go.
So we do have to
okay.
go. But
Shoot.
thank you so much.
Thank you
and
for coming back.
This is my friend that I was
Okay,
meeting.
Thank you
Oh, that was
for,
your- that's your
thank you
friend.
for stopping
Thank you.
by, and
Bye.
it's always nice
Thank-
to have
oh, that's
you.
too bad.
Obviously, you've goosed the
Bye.
numbers
Yeah, thank you.
significantly, simple by presence of
Okay.
the song that we sing to the
You're gonna
to the
sing it?
beautiful women that
Oh.
we've known throughout of our lives,
gonna sing-
beautiful
he's gonna
in
sing?
soul and beautiful
Okay,
in
he's gonna sing.
effort. The women are given the song jingle
Jingle bells?
jingle bells, jingle all the way.
It's always more impartial to Jingle Bell Rock.
Let's see if having the women on
So the
stream
answer,
juice the numbers.
someone in the chat actually already got it was I don't remember who it was who got it first, but it was Castlevania Bloodlines.
Oh, that's of course, yeah.
Oh, it was actually Castlevania. Oh, well.
So I told you you were close, Nathan, and I was not fibbing.
Let's check in on that poll.
How many? How many?
I'm more
women,
a Dawn of Sorrow guy.
Could the representation that just waltzed in here.
The
Incredible.
representation?
Yes.
Is that what we're calling them?
Women?
Mm-hmm.
I think it suddenly turned into a sausage fest just kind of immediately.
I noticed that also when they were near us, the allergy medicine did not seem to drag us down as much, and it was just exciting to be around exciting new people with lots of ideas. And I would hope that in future, Allan, that the women stay longer.
Next time, let's book as guests for the show 2 or 3 women. And they could stay the whole 3 hours. So checking in on the poll here, should Robbie eat the hot sauce? 49% yes, 4% no, and 46% maybe just a dip.
Maybe just but the poll is still going, so we will see where that goes.
We got another 20 minutes on that poll.
Oh, 20 minutes? Okay.
We got 20 minutes on the. Who decides how long these polls are, Nathan Vegetable? Oh boy, I got a little on my thumb and tasted it. It's
Yeah, don't rub your eye, Robbie.
It's quite activating.
Do you have any napkins in the studio?
Well, I got it off the one bit of extremity that it got on, so I don't have to worry it for the time being. But
do you need another Mountain Dew?
Holy Lord, don't pick up hot sauce from a bus stop.
We'll check back in as the poll comes to an end.
Thank you for your call, Nathan Vegetable. We do have to get to It's the Arts, and maybe by the last bit of it, It's the Arts that we don't have a lot of It's the Arts this week, Allan. So, but maybe by the time we check back in, the poll will have closed and we will have decided my fate. Next up is It's the Arts.
Yay! Use the It's the Arts emoji.
First
in the chat.
up
What is
in
that?
It's the Arts is Catherine from Philly has sent us in yet another screenshot of a potential purchase for a good old games GOG.com game. It's a reasonable requirements for modern systems. Linux supported what looks like a top-down, perhaps some sort of strategy RPG, Satellite Rain, $29.99. That's a lot of money.
Why does it say Linux support confirmed?
Linux support confirmed, so we know that it can be played on Linux, and perhaps it can even be bootloaded into Linux-based Chromebooks.
What can?
Satellite Rain.
Is that a game?
Yes. It's got the little penguin on it.
I thought art was like drawings and stuff.
Sometimes art is sometimes art can be words, sometimes art can be lines that lead to little circles around prices or iconography.
This is web art. It looks like information.
I would say yes, it is electronic gaming. All right, so should Robbie eat the hot sauce? The poll has ended. It says I shall eat the hot sauce.
Yay!
While I eat
yes.
some hot sauce, let's go ahead and queue up our first and only EGI2 It's the Arts video from Ryan from Rhode Island.
The bad, the gush.
Don't eat it
What's
yet,
the
Robbie.
difference?
What is this?
It's all one big gray blur in the gutters. I gotta be the executioner of these streets. There's no justice, just crime, corruption, everybody turning a blind eye. I ain't no hero. The next blind eye I see, I'm gonna rip it out. I remember the moment it happened, that the rush of the gush took over.
It's about the gush.
The first hit of it, the sweet embrace, the clarity, was in front of a froyo shop. The junkies shooting up dope, children watching, nobody even caring, nobody even calling it in, nobody there to stop it. I went blind with rage, and I mashed and bashed their face into the pavement. My hands were swollen, like red balloons ready to fly off. And I looked up in the sky, cold wind, lashing the razor burns on my neck. And I knew I was free, that the gush was for me. I take a long, deep drag as the tobacco tickles my throat. And I grin as I gaze at the sun. It feels as if God is kissing my pupils. But I snap out of it as the children and parents run from the froyo screaming, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" Like you never played a video game before, sport. Arguably, what I did was more damaging and scarring than what the junkies did, but it had to be done. The gush chooses you. Somebody has to rise up. A real man. Rise up of the filth, the scum. You gotta let this happen in front of them. I'll show you. No more. I will be the executioner of the streets, the reaper of the gutters, the gush.
Wow.
That was
incredible.
wonderful.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That was a beautiful interpretation of the gush and the gush lore, which grows every day, and it's just wonderful to see how the gush has resonated with the people. And I think crime levels are starting to drop, and that's just because the word is out that the street is now not safe for criminals. It is the gush's street. And back to you, Robbie.
Back to you, Allan. And we do have an answer in the chat that I will be eating this hot sauce.
Uh-oh.
So let's go ahead and put some
choose
hot
the
sauce
numbers.
on this chip here.
Okay, tell everyone to tune in now because it is happening.
This is the
That's
viral
Robbie.
moment that we've required.
Robbie,
that we've been waiting for.
Robbie, that's a lot of.
That's just so we know. That's so
hold it
that's
over
something
where
that we
Anna
do, right?
was. So
oh
that we
right,
get a
so I can
close-
show it in
close
the guest camera here. Where is that?
Up
here, up there.
Don't
so
spill,
there
don't
it is.
spill it
That's a
on the
good-
seat.
that's
That's
a
quite
good
a lot.
dollop.
Ghost pepper. That's sort of a very hot kind of a pepper.
Go.
Okay, he's eating it. Okay, and talk too. Talk about games. Describe games while you talk about it. Is it hot?
It's quite hot.
Is it okay? Did you need? What is it like to have that taste?
Well, I thought this would be good.
Don't
chance,
touch-
better,
don't touch
as
your
good a
eyes.
chance as any to explain that we will be. EGI2 will be moving.
Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your eyes. Robbie, keep your hands lower than your eyes.
Oh God.
Did you
Okay,
touch
you're
your
right. No,
eyes?
there was so little bit in my hand when I touched my head.
Eat the chips.
Oh, hold on, man.
They're sugary chips, so the sweetness should make this bring out the spice.
Okay, so I wanted to say that
Subscribe.
You liking?
Tell your friends.
Dave, we are going to be moving. EGI2 is going to be moving.
Robbie, have you ever seen the show Hot Ones?
Oh my God.
Why did you eat so much?
Just whatever came out of the bottle.
Are you okay?
Okay, EGI2 will be okay. EGI2.
Do you like
starting
spicy
next
food?
week?
Do you like spicy food, Robbie?
Is going to be moving to Wednesday evenings. Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. That
You
Eastern
okay?
time, 6 p.m. So Wednesday nights.
Wednesday.
Which we will be starting next week. EGI2 will be moving to Wednesday nights. 9 p.m.
What's wrong?
Eastern time at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because we have to. But the good news is that we are going to be able to pull from a greater pool of guests who will be able to stay longer than 1 hour. For some reason, Monday nights are just harder to find guests who can come and stay for the whole show. Obviously, we've been gracious with the guests who have come through have been wonderful gifts and gracious with their time with us. But we need to, we are going to, but things, it's been clear to me for some time that Monday night is not the most ideal night to continue doing. And so we are going to be moving to Wednesday in the hopes of growing the.
Robbie ate some ghost pepper hot sauce. Okay, you guys? So give sub and give gifts. Give tier 1 subs and gifts and bits and bytes.
Allan, explain why Wednesday's better, please.
More women are available on Wednesdays. Something happens to women on Mondays that makes them very hard to get guests. And when you do get them, they only stay for a little bit. But we've just heard from thank you Vertical Mammal for gifting tier 1 sub. That's really helpful and makes Robbie eat more ghost pepper. Yeah, there's something that happens on. I don't know if it has to do with the moon or what, but something happens on Mondays that makes women generally unavailable. Oh, okay, great.
Great.
Hype train has started.
Okay.
Yay, a hype train started. Robbie's going to
If we
continue the story.
we're going to continue the story, but this time with hot sauce. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can't goose these numbers a little bit better.
He's having more.
Wednesday is a.
Oh wow, Robbie, really?
It's a key kind of evening to do. Let's see. Oh, can see
cut to
the
the
guest
guest
cam.
shot.
So that's
He's having another
we're
big
going,
dollop.
We're going down the hatch.
He's gonna have a spicy story. So the number should be juiced. Tell people to sub and subscribe, and tell people to rate us right now because we've already hit tier 2. So things are moving quite quickly now. This is an evolving situation. Robbie is taking more ghost pepper. Here I'm gonna hold the I'll hold the ghost pepper bottle into the shot so people know what we're dealing with. This is serious ghost pepper that Robbie found on the bus. African ghost pepper found on the bus. It's got a picture of a lion on it. And this is quite hot. I don't know how many. What is the metric for spiciness?
We have to get to the part of the show, the part of the story where we had left off with the disembodied hand ghost girl had come and walked in.
Don't touch your
on
eye.
her parents.
Don't touch your eyes.
I'm not going to touch my eyes. She had walked in on her parents,
having sex.
Having intercourse.
Did you see when Conan O'Brien drank a lot of hot sauce?
That
went viral.
I just wanted to point out that it wasn't simply the hard stuff. It was soft and it was loving, but it was quite beautiful to see two people come together in such a way that they were
and every tier we get, we'll have a little more.
We'll have a little bit more every tier.
So sub. And even if you gave money in the first round of Hype Train, give money again because Robbie will keep eating it. He might even get so sick he dies.
And of course there was gentleness. I'm glad there was gentleness as Marcy Allan, but it was two people who loved each other so much, and they were so determined, and they were so devoted to each other's. To pleasing each other, and to being a good couple, and to being a happy couple before their daughter had died from eating the rotten meat.
Sex, hot sauce, rotten meat,
disembodied ghost girl hand,
hand.
Corporeal hand.
Okay.
In ghost body, and the hot sauce is wearing off. I think.
Okay, the hot sauce is wearing off, so give bits and bites. He'll have more hot sauce. He might get a really bad reaction to that. He could throw up.
And so we wanted to say, of course, but on this particular day, when the ghost girl came back with her handful of the rotten meat that she had hoped to be giving as a gift to her mother and father, that would be. Of course it rolls back through the root. Once it comes back up, which is interesting. So you open your mouth for a little while and you start
2-minute
talking,
warning.
and then in a second. So,
Ooh, thank you, Dog T, for all those bits and bites.
And you got to say that
thank you, Moby.
Oh,
thank you, Moby190 for the tier 1 for gifting tier 1 subs.
And the girl, even in life, the girl had not seen her parents go at each other like this. So she was so shocked by this that the skin that was the skin of her hand started to bubble and stretch over the.
Oh boy! Yay! We hit a next level of hype. We're on level 3 hype. Thank you, and I can't read it, Skrilla. Thank you for giving so much hype. And Robbie's adding more of the ghost pepper, the dreaded African ghost pepper, onto his pop corner chip that he has here, and he's eating it. So the story will continue. He's eating quite a bit of hot sauce. This is his 3rd helping of hot sauce. The more bits and bites and money, and you subscribe with Prime, and only give what you can, but do give because this is quite entertaining. And we're juicing the numbers here. I think the numbers are going to start going up. tell other streamers what is happening. Say, stop watching this stream. Go watch EGI
Oh,
because he's eating ghost peppers. Robbie's eating ghost peppers, and everyone will pour out into the street to see Robbie eating the ghost peppers, the virtual street, the digital street. And back to you, Robbie.
Back
The
to you,
story will
Allan.
continue for 4 or 5 more minutes.
So the little girl's hand is growing.
There's a lot of sex happening in the story, but the parents
But
are having
mostly
sex.
what we're picturing is the hand of a child clutching a giant pile of.
Thank you, Vertical
rotten
Mammal. Thank you so much, Vertical Mammal, for gifting 3
maggot
tier 1 subs. We're already almost
meat.
there.
And so it's a stinking hand. It's a gray hand. It's the corpse hand. Corporeal corpse. Hand.
Don't touch your eyes.
I'm not going. I just needed to wipe my nose.
The more money you give, the more ghost
and the
pepper he
hand-
has to eat.
And
And he
the
has
skin
to
of
do
the
it.
hand. It's like in those Resident Evil games. Talking about all the shows.
He hasn't drank
When
any water.
When
We
the
don't have
boss
any
battle
milk.
happens, and the boss goes through several stages of evolution. So you get the first one, and it looks like a normal body, a normal humanoid creature. But then you dump it in a vat of acid, or you fire a rocket launcher at it, or you drop a big old truck on it. And then it just gets bigger. And the tendrils start coming out, and it starts wrapping tendrils around you, and
Tendrils have entered the story.
pulling you towards it. And that is what has happened as a result of this little crazy demon girl. Not a demon, just a sad ghost who loved her family and had not evolved, had not gone through the process.
Describe the heat on the tongue.
The heat on the tongue, it's a numbing heat. It's just painful. It's a painful heat. And every time it sort of like rolls over the nerves on my tongue, the little hairs on my tongue.
2 minute warning. 2 minute warning. We're at 75%. And
it
if
just
you
sends
get
a
us
wave
over the
of-
edge, Robbie will have to have more hot sauce. I don't really care about the story, but it is funny to watch him eat that.
It sends a kind of a wave of heat over all throughout my mouth and up my nose. And then that means that I have just very, very hot feeling in my mouth, and that goes into my nose, and then my nose, then I get snotty, and then
It's good for your allergies.
But then when I try to wipe it, I have to remember to not touch the part of my hand that had the hot sauce on it to my face.
Right. Don't touch your eyes. It's probably quite good for your sinuses.
That little ghost girl becomes a fully fleshed out creature, size of a horse. So as a ghost, even with the hand would hover at little girl height. So I want to say maybe about, that would be where the top of the little girl's head is. So the hand would be around here. And then the hand would have the meat in it. And all of a sudden it's like, and all of a sudden there's a big crazy wiggly thing in front of these two people who had just thought they were gonna have the afternoon to themselves. But in fact, it is, they find themselves
18 seconds.
running.
Ooh, we were almost, Robbie, it was almost over. We just, thank you, Vertical Mammal, for gifting tier 1 subs. We've now hit the next level of hype. I don't even know what level we're on, but Robbie will have a little bit more of the African ghost pepper.
Okay, here we go. Get a little bit of this. I got on there.
Wow. Wow. We don't have milk. Whoever
So
said
maybe why we-
Puppy Mouth, we don't have any milk to drink. We have Mountain Dew, and I think there's water, but he may be out of water, but we do have Mountain Dew.
I'll have a water when I fucking finish this.
He curses now. The more hot sauce he is, the less rules there are in the show. So he's dropping logs and cursing.
And let's just remind people that we are going to be moving the show to Wednesday nights. at least going forward. Allan, can you please remind people about Wednesday?
We are going to be moving EGI_2 to Wednesday nights in an attempt to get more women onto this program who generally seem to be more available on Wednesdays for whatever reason. I don't quite know why. Robbie's doing a late in the show hype train. The viewers are trying to get him to eat more and more of this crazy ghost pepper that he found on the bus, and he's eating it, and we're juicing the numbers. He's going viral right now. And the story, he's continuing his story from earlier in the program for another 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We're at 36% hype, so keep it going.
Do want to remind people that I understand that it was a bit of a slower show tonight because Anna couldn't stay with us for the whole thing. And we knew that we were going to have we knew that Anna was coming. We didn't know that she would have to leave us. So we didn't plan in advance. So things kind of dragged out near the end, and I did want to make a bigger deal how of the switch to Wednesday night, and how I do believe that is going to be a good thing for the show. So this feels like a correct, like a payoff that we all earned at the end of this, because we didn't have a special report from Allan. We didn't have time. We didn't have enough teching. We had all of the technical issues around the screenshot. You guess now, and we have. I thought it would be good to have Fighting Force 2 be the funny video game news.
He's not even telling the story anymore. He's going off.
I just thought that the payoff of the joke about Hawk Mansion's back.
Look how red his mouth looks.
Would be worth the drabness of the screenshots.
2 more minutes. We're at 36%. If you keep giving, he'll eat more of the African ghost pepper that he found on the bus.
Time where not that much seems to be happening.
And keep telling the story though, because I do think that's quite good.
So the little girl's hand has become the demon body, and the parents, who are completely naked.
Describe their bodies. Like, are they hot?
They're not as hot as they used to be, but they used to be really hot, and you can tell. They're not. This is a body positive couple. They are not trying to hide anything. They are curvaceous, but they are active.
Wow. How you doing? 1 minute warning. We're at 40%. Please give all that you can that you can afford to give, because I want to see Robbie eat more hot sauce. I wanted to get sick and have a tummy ache.
They spend a lot of time actively searching for each other's. Okay, so there was a little hot sauce that got in my nose. So if I could get a napkin.
Your nose looks red.
Well, that's because there's a little hot sauce.
I don't
on
have
my hand
I don't
that
have
didn't
napkins.
see. And it got when I wiped the snot off my face, it got into my nose. So now my nose hurts.
I don't have any napkins here.
But I just want to
20 seconds. 20 seconds. I don't think you're gonna have to eat any more hot sauce. They're not giving.
that these people.
Okay, I think
we're
it's
on board.
Over. Hype train success. I think that means it's over.
Oh, it's over.
Okay, you did it. Okay, congratulations to Robbie. Robbie, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I want you to do it. James, when Allan's finished talking, then you just shut it off.
I just want to use this opportunity to genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank the viewers of EGI2 who donated so much time into watching the show and donated so much capital and currency into the show and allowed us to witness something that I've never seen, to see a great man taken down a couple pegs by having hot sauce, which is wonderful. I think what the gift that you've actually given us is going to do wonders for this program, for future episodes, for future bookings. I think are going to go through the roof once people see the kind of content that EGI2 has started to delve into and pivoted towards. It's less about games. It's more about sort of bodily, not harm, but endurance challenges and just to see what the body is capable of. I think there's something inherently fascinating about that. The viewers demand excitement. For these long streams, they go on and on and on and on and on. They're so boring. People just tune out. So if you can jazz it up with a jazz jackrabbit commentary, you can jazz it up with a little hot African ghost pepper that you find on the bus and make the host of the show eat it. That's good. That's good content. So this is me thanking Robbie and thanking myself, of course, for the work that I do, and of course thanking the viewer. We're moving EGI2 to Wednesday nights.
Starting next week.
Starting next week. Thank you so much. We love you. Good night.